Hey everybody, how you guys doing today? I'm so glad to come back here, and for some reason today I feel this energy and I just want to talk about change, man. I posted something earlier today and this is what I said. If you forget about everything, just remember this one thing, that sometimes you might not get to see the change you want unless you change. Insanity is doing the same thing while expecting a different result. You cannot see a different result if you keep doing the same thing. I was kind of like thinking about Africa and the things that we always talk about and we're struggling with. And you guys know that it's a lot of them. We can talk about leadership, corruption, economic dependence, tribalism. We can talk about all those issues. There's so many things that we're struggling with. And maybe you might be tired hearing all these issues all the time, but you know, we have to talk about them. We have to address them. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of people who do not know what Africa is going through. Wants to cover the issues that Africa is facing. And as a Swahili Nation, One Africa, our job is to address them, brutally be honest with ourselves in order to solve the problem. You cannot solve the issue if you don't know the source and what the problem is. The change that we expect to happen in our country, in our government, societies and communities, and our companies, whatever the change that you want, even in your life when you go to personal level, whatever the change you want to see, you have to know that you have to change. This is something that we act towards. If you want to see something change, then you have to change. Because sometimes the thing that you wanted to change is not an issue, but the issue is how you see it. And if you don't change your perspective, then you're going to keep seeing it negative way, right? That's how you will see it. So sometimes in order to change the situation and the negativity around you is by you becoming positive. If you become positive, you will see it positive. Even if there's a negative things, but you will always, your mind will always direct you, will always elaborate things, will always lead you back to the positiveness, you know what I'm saying? Because that's where you are at the moment. And the change that we want to see in Africa, it can only happen if we do change. So instead of sitting down here and talking about change, I will go out and actually be the change that Africa needs. Hashtag proud African, right? It's very easy for people to complain, to give up, right? Because you don't have to put on effort. It's very easy to lose hope. It's very easy to do that, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to care. If you care much, you're going to get hurt. You don't want to love, because if you love much, you might be betrayed, you know what I'm saying? So it's better to be on the other side of negativity. It's very easy to be the side of negativity than positivity, because if you want to be in the side of positiveness, then you have to put on effort. And a lot of people these days, they don't want to put effort, you know? So that's why they end up giving up. But this is a message for you, that you are the only one who can change the situation. You can change it. I don't want to put God in this, because I believe that God has already given us ability and mind to think, to elaborate, and to do things. He already given us that. We already have permission. As long as you're alive, that means you still have a job to do, right? The day I die, that means I'm done. I'm finished, right? My mission is done. But as long as I'm alive, it's because I still have something to do. So you already have that permission. But how do you go out and work on that? How do you use the opportunity? Because life is an opportunity that God has given you and me. How do you take advantage of that opportunity to actually bring about change? How do you do that? And that's the question that I want you guys to think about today. And if you can, let me know in the comment section. And when I'm talking about change, I'm talking about, there's a lot of things you don't like it, right? Well, you can change it. As long as you see the problem, you have a solution. Things that you don't like it, I mean, you cannot love anything, everything. You cannot like everything, but there are things that can be changed. And if there's something you don't like, you cannot keep complaining, because it's insane, right? Doing the same thing and expecting different results is insanity. So you need to change. And how can you bring about change, right? To whatever situation that you see. So you can take perspective of your country, right? Things that you're struggling with. I love this one quote I saw on Twitter the other day, and I just had to retweet it because it was really well written. And she wrote this on her bio. She wrote, "Love for your country doesn't mean love for the president or for the leader. Ask yourself how you can contribute to your country." And it reminds me what, you know, love for your people or for Africa, it doesn't mean that you have to love a leader or whatever that disappoints you, because a lot of time we've been hiding under the shadow of, you know what, this government is not doing anything. You know what, there's so much corruption. No matter what we do, we're not going to be able to change. Well, love for your country doesn't mean that you have to love that leader who is screwing things up every single day. Ask yourself, how can you contribute? And it's kind of like I'm coming from that point of view, that how can you take advantage of the opportunity, the life you have, to bring about change? Because as long as you're alive, as long as you see there's issues, that means you have a solution, and you just need to figure out how can you figure out the solution. And our job here in Solution One Africa, it's actually to stir up the fire, right? So you might say that you guys are talking too much of this and that, but our job is to remind each other, is to remind that, you know what, we can actually bring about change. We might not bring the solution sometimes because we don't have solution to every issue that is going on, right? But you guys, you have it, because you guys are going through, we are going through. And when we come together as one Africa, think about it, talk about it, I'm telling you, there's high chance, and I'm confident 100% that we're going to bring about change. And that's why I want to reach university students, want to reach to all the students who will actually bring change to the next generation as soon as possible. So let me know, guys, in the comment section what you're thinking, what's your idea, what's your thoughts. And I think this will be an amazing time for you guys to motivate me as well and to inspire me. So I'll be checking on your comments, and maybe we'll come up with something. I appreciate it, guys. I love you. Be the change Africa needs. Proud of you. Love you.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the stream. I think I'm live. So yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. It's been a minute. It's been a crazy week for me, but here we are. So yeah, today we're talking about the news cycle, not the news cycle, but today's news cycle. Because last week we talked about the land grab. Then the week before that we talked about the Brics, and this topic has really dominated news cycles today. Today I think it has really dominated the news cycle. So I'm thinking, let's see what's happened, because I think earlier this week the Brics had a meeting, and we're going to see what happened, what came to that conclusion. Then there also Rwanda had a meeting today, and then there was also the Commonwealth meeting in Rwanda, which Rwanda now joined the Commonwealth. There's a lot of things to unpack over there, and then there is also the Loliondo, the Maasai issue, which we talked about last week, about the land grab. Right now it's escalated. So today we will also talk about the land grab. So yeah, basically we're looking at the things we've talked about today. This week it's been a very unique week, because they've really played out, right? So yeah, that's what really we'll look at right now. See if I can share this. In a minute. Here we are. Brics countries. Let's start with this one over here. Welcome Tanzan. Welcome Tanzan. Let's see. Hope you guys can see what I'm saying. Yeah, I think you guys can see. Now was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. Oh, welcome Biggie. Welcome Biggie.
Hey, Mundatezi.
I don't know. I don't know. Were you maybe supposed to be in? I don't know. Were you hiding in the background? Have I put you on too early or something? I don't know.
Yeah, just the beginning. So anyway, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to some of you and family you out there. I see Tanzania. Thank you. And yeah, I'm here to listen to what we have for today and support.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you, Biggie. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we're
that.
talking about. Yeah, you were there actually. You were in in the stream when we talked about the Brics, right? So they
Mhm.
had a meeting this week, right? So it was just like I couldn't pass it up. We had to revise that topic now. So because they had a meeting this week, so
Right.
let's see what they came up with, what they talked about. Because we were hoping, right, that they will give us an option, right? That was, I think, in that stream we talked about Africa having another option apart from the World Bank and the WTO or the IMF. So
Mhm.
I don't know. So today they met, not today, but this week. So let me see what. Okay, let's see what Putin said because he is one of the most. Russian President Vladimir Putin called on the leader of the Brics nations to cooperate in the face of selfish actions from the West. In televised remarks at the BRICS virtual summit, Putin said only on the basis of honest, mutually beneficial cooperation can we look both ways out of this crisis situation, which developed in the global economy because of the okay, yeah, this is a bit of propaganda, I think. He said this country is using financial mechanisms. Yeah, he said these countries using financial mechanisms, in fact, shift their own mistakes in macroeconomic policies onto the whole world. We are convinced that now, more than ever, the leadership of BRICS country is needed to develop a unifying positive course toward the formation of a truly multipolar system of intergovernment relations. Yeah. So it's looking like this basically giving Africa another option. If we're looking at because we're going to just keep this in the African perspective. So yeah, it's giving Africa another option. I think that one of their objectives is here, and I think Putin just put it out that using financial mechanisms like the IMF and the World Bank, the SAPs, the structural adjustment programs that we talked about in depth. By the way, if you guys go check out that stream, I think I'll post the link for those of you guys who have never seen the stream. I'll post the link to that stream where we talked about the way IMF and the World Bank take wealth. Actually, they take wealth from the global south and specifically Africa, and they push it to the west, right? So I think I think this is one of the financial mechanisms that's being talked about here, and it's been a threat to the developing world for a while now.
Well, the leaders of Brazil, Russia, India.
So the United States and several other Western countries have. Oh, this is about the Russia issue. During the virtual summit, Putin said that we see that the challenges of the international communities face today are complex and we need to come up together. The the power of BRICS is 40% of the population of the world, a quarter of the gross domestic product. When it comes to Russia, the China, India, and South Africa have abstained from voting on condemning Russia. But most African countries, I think almost half, not most, but half of African countries have not supported. Have been voting in neutrality when it comes to the war. Let me share another article. Russia is ready to develop a new global reserve currency alongside China and other Brics nations in a potential challenge to the dominance of the US dollar. President Vladimir. Now, the US dollar is a very sensitive topic because it caused the when we talked about SAPs last time, like we talked about the structural adjustment programs when Africa was taking a lot of debt from maybe the World Bank or the IMF or from foreign banks, from the Western banks. What caused a lot of Africans to default, and now the IMF come in, was rise in interest rates of the dollar. So just something like that, a rise in interest, and you can see for what's happening in Sri Lanka. There is high inflation already right now all over Africa, and it's linked to they say it's linked to the Ukraine war, but it's also linked to the high interest rates. So that when the dollar interest rates increase, it also has a very tidal effect when it comes to inflation rates. Russia is ready to develop a new. President Putin signaled the new reserve currency will be based on a basket of currencies from the group members of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So this is why I'm a big supporter of the Brics nation, because at least we have an African in there. Like I know people may be skeptical, but at least we have an African. The G7 are meeting actually right now. I think they are meeting right now. There is no African country over there. I think they've already met, but they met probably today or yesterday. There is no African country over there. There is no African representation. But they make decisions about according to what the economic direction the world will take, without a continent of 1.2 billion people there. At least here, when they make decisions, we know that we have an African there who is also a developing nation, and who will always, and we can only, and it's just safe to say that the interests of South Africa sometimes most of its interests are also the interests of the greater Africa. So yeah. So the matter of creating the international reserve currencies based on the basket of currencies of our countries is under review. Oh yeah. We are ready to openly work with all fair partners. Somebody asked me last time about the veto. If there's a veto, it was BJ. BJ asked me about how does Brics operate? Is there a veto power? It's looking like it's open for all fair partners. The dollar has long been seen as the world reserve currency, but its dominance in the share of international currency reserves is waning. Central banks are looking to diversify to hold their holdings into currencies like the yuan, as well as into non-traditional areas like the Swedish krona, the South Korean won, according to the IMF. Those guys. Every time I say IMF, I always say those guys. This is a move to address the perceived US hegemony of the IMF. ING's global head of markets, Chris Turner, said it in a note. It will allow Brics to build their own sphere of influence and unit of currency with that sphere. So yeah, so for those who are talking about the new world order, I think we're heading towards a multilateral world where there won't be just one dominant hegemony. It will be multiple. If like now, if you want the Brics currencies, that is going to, and that's what we need as Africans, right? We need options, because the moment it's just one, we are usually the ones, the global South, and specifically Africans, we are usually the ones to get exploited. But if you see that this person is exploiting us, we can go to the other person. So the market becomes the competition between the two, or other systems. They will be competing against each other, which is always good for the consumer, right? So yeah, so as long as these two types, the US led or the Western hegemony or the IMF and World Bank system and the system of Brics, if they compete, it will always benefit the global south, because of that competition. We know it will always be about favorable terms to woo people, right? To woo the countries towards their side or towards their corner. The speed with which Western nations and its allies sanctioned Russians, this is about the sanctions. One possibility is that the BRICS currency could attract the reserves, not just of the group members, but also countries already within their range, like all of Africa. This includes nations in the South Asia and Middle East, all of Africa too. Russia has its currency, the ruble, rebound to, oh yeah, this is about the Russian. Meanwhile, I think we're done here. I think I'm going to one more topic about the New World Order. Then we'll see what people want to say. The BRICS group comprises of the New World Order. China promotes non-Western multilateralism as BRICS summit. China hosted today the 14th. Oh, they've been meeting 14 times. A series of meetings involving the leaders of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa on Wednesday, amid series of major shifts in the global world order and rising geopolitical tensions in the Eastern Europe and East Asia. Chinese President Xi Jinping opened the summit on Wednesday, emphasizing on the five nations' shared desire to meet challenges together through cooperation. According to China's state-run agency, the Chinese leader also urged the countries in attendance to embrace solidarity, coordinations, jointly maintain world peace and stability. The BRICS groups comprise of the five largest developing economies together in it. I always feel weird when they say the five largest developing economies. Like, you know, I always think about Nigeria. Like, Nigeria should be in BRICS. Like, it's just the logical. Like, they should be, if they're going to add the next member from Africa, it will probably be Nigeria. Its members constitute 40% of the world's population, 1/4 of the global crosstown. This is about BRICS. The group includes two most populous nations in the world, China and India, as well as Russia, the largest in terms of land. The Chinese state media has praised the role of the five-nation grouping, claiming that ties between the BRICS countries had increased multilateral cooperation with non-Western styles, forms, and principles. Basically non-Western rules and forms and principles. IMF and the World Bank, those are Western, you know. SAPs, actually, let me just be specific. SAPs, structural adjustment programs. The ones that tell you that don't spend on education, don't spend on healthcare, spend all your money in paying debt. You know? So yeah, you know, I love this language because we need. This is a language that attracts African governments. You know, because we've been reeling under just one hegemony. So yeah. Basically, it's very optimistic. Despite considerable internal differences within the bloc, including a decade-old rivalry between China and India, all of BRICS countries have resisted full political alignment with the West. Of the five BRICS nations, only one, Brazil, has voted in the United Nations, has condemned Russia for the Ukraine. But even the Brazilian president refused to personally condemn Putin, whom the West has widely framed. in his remarks, in the U.S., Jinping appeared to criticize the U.S. and NATO. Okay, this is about the Russia. It's not economic. A virtual meeting between Jinping and his counterparts Jair Bolsonaro, Vladimir Putin, Narendra Modi, and Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to. They've already done the meeting. So yeah, analysts have predicted that Xi will defend China's governance record. Oh, this is yeah. I think this is about. We're done with the Brics. I think basically they were just reinforcing. Basically, they were just reinforcing what we were talking about. What's happening? Post this. Oh, so I'm supposed to post outside. Okay, there. So yeah. President Biden has signed off a $1.5 trillion spending that bill that funds the government through September, and it includes $13.6 billion in aid to Ukraine as it fights off Russia invasion. The president signed after, President Biden. This is like this is actually about the Western hegemony that we just read about right now. In fact, there was this I don't know, Bigil, maybe you know the politician. There was, I don't know, they just saw a clip of this politician talking about fighting Ukraine is fighting for is fighting for the Western world, you know. So it's like they also have an idea. Okay, look at this. They also have an idea. It's like they also have an idea of what's happening. They know what they're doing. Basically, that's what I'm saying. When they want Ukraine to win or they want to weaken Russia, they know what they're doing. They're fighting for their hegemony. They're fighting for the dollar to be stronger and the only currency used. They're fighting for the World Bank. They're fighting for the IMF. You know, let me give you another one that might not be related completely, but it's also something we talked about, and you know, and it's happening actually. So now the Philippine government is cracking down on illegal Kenyan Maasais. Illegal Kenyan Maasais. You know, let's read first, then I'll give my opinion. Tanzania Wednesday said it will tackle illegal immigrants in the northeastern area of Loliondo, where it has alleged Kenyan Maasai pastoralists are supporting opponents. So basically, I think, guys, everybody knows what's happening with the Maasais of Tanzania getting evicted from their own ancestral home. It's really terrible. The Maasai of Loliondo have accused the government of trying to force them off their land in order to organize safari and hunting expeditions. But the government has rejected these accusations, claiming it wants to protect 1,500 square kilometers of land from human activity. It says that it's just a fraction of a region that covers 4,000 square kilometers near the Kenyan border. Tensions over the project led to the death of a policeman at a separate protest in June 10, after teams turned up to plant posts to separate off the area where they wanted to fence off the area. Following the directives of the Home Affairs Minister, we will conduct a special operation for 10 days against illegal immigrants. These are Maasais that are supposedly from the Kenyan side of the border, but this is still their land. They are still indigenous to that area. They are Maasais. There is no difference between a Kenyan Maasai and the Tanzanian Maasai. They are all Maasai. You know, that line was drawn by a European. Tanzania's Home Affairs last week asked for stern measures to cap an influx of illegal. This language is just it's not the right language. Maasai herders live in the border area between Tanzania and Kenya, and the Tanzanian authorities have said that they suspect Kenyans have flocked to Loliondo to support their brethren, basically fighting the government. Tanzania has charged 20 Maasai protesters over policeman killing. The violence of Loliondo has triggered outrage amongst campaigners, with Amnesty International describing it as shocking both in its scale and brutality. Opponents of the protected area have sought help from the East African Court of Justice, but it has said it was postponing an expected decision on Wednesday on the case due to unavailable, without providing further details. In 2009, thousands of Maasai families were evicted from Loliondo so that an Emirati company called the Otello Business Corporation could organize hunting expeditions for wealthy tourists. The government cancelled that deal in 2017 following allegations of corruption. Loliondo lies not far from Serengeti National Park and Ngorongoro volcanic crater, both of which lure hundreds of thousands of tourists annually. Yeah, basically, last week we talked about land grabs in Africa. So this is just one example that happened in the news. So I just had to show it. What was the date of this news? I think it was this week's news. Yeah, June 23rd. Yeah, so I think I'm done. Unless you guys have. Let me check out the comment section.
Great coverage, Mondotezi. It wraps it up on what's happening, and at the same time, in the heart of Africa, we had over 200 people that have been killed in Ethiopia, and our prayer goes to them. There's a lot of things that's been going on in the past week, and this is one of the things that really family to put a prayer for those lost souls and unnecessary roughness and killing that's been went on in the past few days. So I just want that to have in our mind for the people that's been now the Maasai been evicted, and you got people that's been killed. We are in a position right now just really to condemn the perpetrators and bring them to justice, and that is the focus, because that's how we're going to secure each African lives on a national and continental level. And these are kind of stories that have been hidden. A lot of people don't see them unless you focus into them, but it's been around. Major networks, anything that happened in the continent, unless they have the interest, that they don't copy it. We're the only one, we as Africans, that have information that comes from the ground and paying attention on what next for our next fate. So anyway, I just want to bring that up, that they are in our prayers, and may Xavier bless their souls and let them rest in peace. So it's very important. And on the financial side, I showed you some of the interests that the West has versus what's in it for Africa. What do we get as benefit? And I just pulled up some information about the Afro Champion that's been signed in the AU. It's like getting $1 billion to $1 trillion. And when you see all the path, nobody talks about it. It's just in the background, but it's a lot of work. It's about 22 pages and a lot of information to it. We as Africans, we have to pay attention to those, and we should be able to voice ourselves saying, hey, what happened to that? And because now that the world is kind of seizing, I think this thing happened in 2017, and it's been signed in Addis by AU. They call it the Afro, let me see the exact title of it. It's a very interesting article. I mean, it's been out there. I think I spoke about it sometime last beginning in January about this, and it has a path on how to obtain and develop the private sector to fund the information. So I'm going to paste it on the private chat, and their attention and what they're trying to improve. It's everything that we talked about. So let me see if I can paste this.
I see.
Right. It's like feeding the people, clothing the people, housing the people, moving the people and goods. Value addition is the tourism and creative industry, digital economy, skills, healthcare, financial services, transportation corridors, connectivity project, mega power project designed to achieve the benchmark tariff within the defined investor corridor or area. Inga plus regional power pulls Cape to Cairo plus Djibouti Dakar rail or similar project. Agripoles plus economical zone and smart cities. And it's really well compact information. We ought to see, where we can really, as family, African brothers and sisters, how we can really dissect that data and where we stand. How much has been achieved? Is it moving? Where is it? And I think that's one of the things that we have to look into, because this thing is big. We're talking about from billion to trillion, and getting the investor and how they get in and how they get vetted in the program.
Yeah. I think I don't know if you can post like the link so that we can just open it here and we just go through.
Oh yeah, there you go. Oh, it's an awesome. I mean, it's well written, and we should stick to this information and discuss about it. I mean, it takes. I think it will touch all the SN hosts. There's a very interesting part in it, so we can have it the whole week and dissect it and find it. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna put it on the comment section. It's so-called afrochampion.org.
Okay, let me see if I can open it. So it's about, but it's looking like this is posted. This is a bill by the AU.
Mm-hmm. This African Union, and this framework has been signed.
Okay, so that's interesting. It's loading on my end, but yeah, it's talking about some very interesting thing, because in the end of the day, Africa needs to industrialize. That's there's no avoiding that. There is no avoiding that step. Like, so yeah, industrialization should be a priority in most of Africa, and yeah, power pool cables, mega power projects, and digital. Transport. I was looking for transportation corridor, because people we do a lot of Africans in I don't know, African nations, we always ignore this part, but we're not as connected as we should be, right? It should be very easy. It should, going to, like me going to Ethiopia or me going to Cameroon or something. It shouldn't be like I'm going to a different part of the world, you know. It shouldn't be like that. It should be a very easy commute, you know. It should be so. Yeah, I'm a big fan of transportation corridors. In fact, I was just talking about this with somebody else, that there is no. It's like there is this. We need that. There is no like transportation corridor linking East Africa to West Africa. You know, it's like there's just, you can, I don't know how driving, you have to go all the way to South Africa, then drive from East Africa. You have to go all the way to South Africa, then drive north, or you have to go all the way. I don't even think there's a way through North Africa. I don't know if there is a way, but it seems to be more difficult. The easiest way is to go all the way to South Africa, then drive north. You know, so it's like, yeah, that's just you know, that just shows you how the country, the continent needs to look at its transportation very seriously. You know, but also. Well,
were you able to open it?
Yeah. It's loading.
Okay, let me see if I can share it. Let's see. There you go. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go all the way to the top. This is the framework. $1 trillion investment framework for Africa in support of AFCFTA implementation. This is the executive summary. So, as you can see, here's the endorsement. One of the endorsement, President Mamadou Issoufou, Republic of Niger, my task of bringing together African heads of states to elaborate to the FCFTA treaty only ends when the promise become action. Hence, the $1 trillion investment framework designed by Afro Champion is a strategic tool to support this effort. I endorse the publication of the annual progress report on every city. So we always can follow on the annual reports. And this been ongoing. So if you look at on the right, it said build trust and unite to deliver the FCTA and the Agenda 2063. We've been talking about the Agenda 2063, which is on the African Union web page. There's a lot of things that's been said. So you have a Commissioner for Trade and Industry in there, President and CEO of African Finance Corporation, Professor Benedict. I mean, there's so many people that really endorsed this pact. And it's a great topic to read. It's initiated by the African private sectors to take advantage of the SFTA and help transform Africa. You know, all these are there, but I found something very interesting. So those I don't want to take too much time for everybody that's listening. You have the link. You can all read about it. And but one thing that I want to bring is the core opportunity, you know, and these are the opportunities that we just posted about feeding our people. Feeding our people, it's not just feeding; it's just you know, that's what we're talking about it now, about food security. And if you talk about food security, then you have to have a national security that's tight and respect the human life in the continent. So the feeding can be fed if we have peace. So peace is very important in order to feed the people. The clothing comes the same thing. Housing for the people, moving the people and goods, and then the value additions, tourism, creative industries, digital economy, skills in healthcare. By the way, we have good nurses out there and good volunteers that goes throughout Africa, helping out the people in the village and people that cannot afford some of the medical thing. And it comes with that attitude of Ubuntu, because they take it personally, going in the village and helping out. And then you have financial services, and this is something that we need to revise. We got the partners, enablers, and the partners are African private sector, project developers, operator, investor, multiple SMEs, all the SMEs that you need, lenders, African government, AU, got all that. And then the enablers is transportation and connectivity, one of the things that we need. And you look at the value addition. So I just put this information out there. So we really need to know whether it's benefiting us, or is it benefiting to be easy access to really hurt us more. But again, these kind of opportunity is going to create more jobs, more of the sector to push for food security again. And that's one thing that we need. And also defense and all that comes along with that. So Africa and food imports. Look at this.
So I'm curious though. Like I'm seeing here the 35 billion, 100 billion. Where is this money coming from?
Well, it's supposed to come from within the African developers. People that are financially there. So that's the thing that I really want to dig into. Who is, if there's some other agenda to it, because when you look at the resolution 538, it's like they are in support of forming the second United States of Africa already from the start. I didn't see the first. Now they're talking the second. So these are the things that they copy from some of us that have been putting that, hey, we got to form the second USA. And then what we really meant is the second USA being first the United States of America, then the second one that coming now is going to be United States of Africa. But they took that whole sentence and make it's so ridiculous the way they just put it there, making and supporting in the making of the second United States of Africa. I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense. So they're copying something, but they're not paying attention to what they're writing. So anyway, I just don't want to take too much time. It's just something that I want you guys to really read this document. It's out there. And there's also annual report that comes out where we at. So the agribusiness sector is estimated at 1 trillion by 2030.
The agri 1 trillion, yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually a very good document to begin. I don't know. We can just even. I don't mind. Wait, okay. Maybe let me see the comment section before. Hey, welcome, Pi. Welcome, the only Marie Antoinette also in the house. Welcome, Belaya. I agree. Industrialization, food, water, security, and logistics are probably top 3. Yeah. It's actually, I have a lot of questions. I don't know, Biggie, if we can still discuss this. I'm actually now, because it's still back on, it's still on especially the financial side of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see a lot of how the certification process works.
Yeah, did you see that? Hold on, let me. I'll bring it up because that's where I was gonna get. I just want to show this 1 trillion things where this $1 trillion comes, but when you really look at what they have and how you get ventured, I mean vested. There you go. The moving the people and goods. You see. The trade part, 200 billion worth trade in Africa is carried by region trunk road network. And then you have the African aviation sector that's contributing 72 billion. So that means they're flying their goods. Okay. This is the part where I'm gonna really follow the part of the education skills and healthcare. Okay, it's going to be Professor Israel. Yeah, so I'll share them, and because this is a great document that's basically why we're creating a wheel. You know, there's certain wheels that's out there. There's certain tools that we can use for us as Swahili Nation One Africa that's out there, and the question is to follow up and where all these things. We talk. This is a lot of money. It's a lot of money that's going to be ventured in Africa, and then looking at the financial services. I mean, as you can see, but the one that we talked about.
Yeah, I scroll up the financial services. Actually, I saw something very the African Central Bank. Or did I see
which
something?
one?
Just up higher a little bit. The financial services.
Okay, hold on. For some reason, I just lost my little connection. Give me 1 second. There's something that's on the background. I told you every time that we talk about these things, you know.
Yeah.
Let me see. I cannot even go to my channel. Everything's frozen. I'll get back to it. I just go ahead and see if I can really put it back in.
Okay. I think Biggie is coming back. I think I can even share it here. Welcome, guys. Oh, well, let me remind you guys too that we are raising funds for the office. So there is a link on the top of the top of the stream that you will see about the GoFundMe. So guys, please contribute so that One Africa and Swahili Nation can produce even better products, better services, and it will be better for, you know, just better quality of everything else, right? Pretty good weather. Welcome, BJ Riggs. Welcome. Let me. I think I can post it, Biggie. See. There you are. And for those who are looking to join the stream, today we're just talking about the news that happened this week in Africa. If you want to join the stream and maybe you have your own news and that you wanted to see, so yeah, you're welcome. So Biggie showed us something very interesting today about what happened with the AU, and they talked. Let me see. Talked about the the resolution they passed quite recently about I don't know, how many trillions of dollars, basically. Ever was it $1 trillion? But the AU has passed a resolution to, you know, and we have, let's just look into it as we talk about Africa. This is actually a very interesting. I'm looking for a place where they talk about Central Bank of Africa. So let's just go through it one by one, right? An initiative by African private sector to take advantage of taking advantage of the African Free Trade Agreement. Free Trade Area, the African Free Trade Area. Reinvigorating transformational investments in Africa on the basis of AfCFTA, stimulating private sector interest in Africa, mobilizing private sector for investment in Africa. So these are the objectives. Stimulating private sector investment interest and mobilizing for investment in Africa. So yeah, it's a very ambitious project. The draft framework was first presented to the African heads of states at the okay. So this is something that has been on the works, on the pipeline for a while. It's not but now I think it's past the stage where now they can actually publish it. The infrastructure shortfall alone in Africa is $2 trillion over a 10-year period. So the FTA, the African Free Trade Area, or the Free Trade Agreement, is therefore not just a trade treaty, but a program that opens the door to one of the biggest opportunities for the private sector to transform the continent by investing in infrastructure and industries and increase intra-African trade and create wealth. It holds the key to trigger an infrastructure and economic transformation in Africa. Basically, you know, if people want to trade, the road will be, you know, if countries trade more, and I think that's what we're talking about. Oh, welcome, Big E. Big E.
I told you, every time I talk about investment funding, I don't know what happened. I completely, I had to log out all the way and come back.
Okay.
Is there anything that benefit Africa? There's some things like
yeah.
But it's all good. We're gonna keep on pushing. Thank you so much for.
That's why, guys, you need to don't forget to donate. Don't forget to donate so that we can have our own offices, our own media, our own platforms. Yeah, so that when we talk about investment, nothing suspicious happens, you know. Welcome, guys. Okay, I was talking about Biggie, that they were trying to leverage on the African Free Trade Agreement so that in a way that boosts investments, right? To encourage the private sector to. I'm still trying to understand. I don't know, Biggie. You've read the document, right?
Yeah, but it's like this document is bringing all the bits and pieces that were out in the different programs and condensed it, you know, to executive summary, because there's a lot of other mechanism that's been put in place. The trade agreement among African nations is already signed. Okay, that's another document. That's why they bring it here as how it's going to impact once this is signed, you know, and then this other document, from billion to trillion document has been signed, and these two documents merged in this document. So basically, it's different mechanism. These are the things that we all as Africans we need to see. You know, where it's not just the writing, but where it stands. Is it beneficial? What is lacking? Then these are the low-hanging fruit that we can really actively work on those. You know what I mean? And again, about this office that we're asking, we will have all this other departments that's going to be really African department of things that are out there within African Union, because this is our African Union and how and they operate. And of course, there's other different missing components that we can grab and help out the continent itself and its resident, and as well in the diaspora world. These are the things that we're talking about. So there are things that are going forward, and we got to be very proactive for this change to come. Because in document, it looks good, it looks good. I know there's different parts that are working, but again, we as Africans also have the responsibility to look at those documents. This is not something that was just put out by just different people that have a personal interest. Maybe not. They probably got the good faith that they want to do something about this. So it's up to us as one Africa family. It's up to us to really dissect it, understand it, and anything that's really can for us to do to help out this move, we will participate. We will put our help, our volunteers, our effort, our money, and whatever that it needs to be done. We find a good path. We just grab it.
Yeah. Actually, it's a very. I think I've already posted on the comment section. But this documentary, it talks about. You can just see the thinking behind the document when they talk about the enablers, like talk about partners and stakeholders, the enablers, transportation and connectivity, cheap and reliable power to an industry, selling not above the AU benchmark. So like they want to connect Africa through transportation and the cheap and reliable power, which is what Ethiopia is trying to do right now. So yeah. Value addition.
We touched. You ever noticed that throughout all our conversation, we touched all these information, all these, the infrastructure part, the science part, the food security. We talked about all these, and they are still documented in this kind of documents. And now this is again, it's an executive summary. So there are all these other parts of documentation that they put together for this summary. We should dissect our interests, the low-hanging fruit, okay? And then say, okay, is this within our capacity? Can we handle this? And come and discuss about it, because the thinking was done for us. But if it's up to us also to really look at it in a fine comb, where is it headed? So is it going to, at the long run? So you're looking at 2030. 2030 is next 7 years, 7.5 years. And the population by that time will be 2.5 billion. So there's a lot of hungry mouths to feed with the existing one. So if the average is 27 years old for Africa, so this 27 years old, they're going to make babies, okay? And those babies are going to need to be fed. And this is the part where everything is focused for that short term. The next, I said it between 5 to 10 years, we'll have this major change where we not really completely wait until 2063 for certain things that need to be moving. Because if all the infrastructure is there, if we got all the energy that we need to go across Africa, all these will help to move the ventures, because each country, they have an entry point. Okay, each entry point make the access easy for those that are in the transport, for those that are in the delivery from one end of the continent to the other end of the continent. These are going to be facilitating certain things a lot faster, because as they become stronger and stronger, then all the countries will have the sufficient way of issuing the visa, issuing the border when it comes to the consumer goods that comes in, how the taxation goes, all that will start having taking precedence, because again, that experience is the one that makes you stronger and better. So when all these things start merging and start working, yes, they're looking at 2030. Think about it. If you have a guy that driving a truck full of goods or fruits or food, and you go from Tanzania and you want to go reach Senegal, okay, you will take your options. They're a train. So if you're on the train, you're a train operator, you need to have all these visas in line and been approved and do your drops to in the custom area. So you don't have to wait. You just drop it off, you keep going. You drop it off, you keep going, and come back again with the other goods from the other side. So once this is well exercised, then we'll have that really an Africa without frontier, without borders. We can accelerate in that, and we need to have a good database that all Africa can share. So it's very important. Oh, we got Tanzania that's joining. Mondatezi.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to
everybody.
Hi, Tanzania.
Sorry, Tanzan. I was engrossed in the document. So welcome.
You don't have to make up a story.
I was making up a story.
Hey. Okay, so I'll sit back and learn. So when I have something to say, I'll say something. At least I've learned something. Okay, so continue.
No, actually, Tanzan, from this documentation, what do you think about this documentation?
It seems really, it seems like something that it should be implemented. Sometimes I see something on paper and it looks good. I don't know how well it translates into practical real life, but from what I see, that looks good. And I saw something about leverage, about private sector and leverage. So for me, I was asking earlier if this brick was some sort of leverage or counter to what those guys, the SAPs, were on about, because I still don't have like that, over optimism about it, only because the only country that is still there from this side is South Africa. Until we get a few more African countries in there, I can't really say that Africa is going to benefit, but we still have a way in, we still have a foot in the door. So I won't completely, throw rain on the fire. So, we'll see how that happens. And also another thing that I noticed about the Brics, they are also members of other blocs. They're not just, BRIC members and that's it. Each of those following members have their, China has the Far East or whatever, India has, partnerships with others. So you can make internal partnerships and you can also make like international partnerships, which I think that's what it is. And I think that they're going in the right direction because they've realized that you can only struggle against each other so much and then when you look, somebody else has gone a long distance while you're trying to hold each other down. So I think it's a good step in the right direction. People should have a choice in the market, whatever market it is. You should have a choice where you can say, well, if I don't like your terms, I can go to somebody else and so on. So I think it's a good thing. I just don't know whether Africa is actually positioned to take advantage of it or just to choose between, one side or another. Yeah, that's that's all I had to say about that. But I think it's a good plan. I think that the next plan is finding people who actually understand it and those who are capable of implementing it.
Yeah, I think you've made a very interesting point. I think Brics, you talked about Brics, and I was talking about the funding part. And I think Brics can enter here as partners and stakeholders, right? Because I think this is a section where they probably fit in. The African private project developers, yeah, multinationals. Big multinational is a company, but they're Brics enters here, like in this place of partners and stakeholders. I think they can.
I think African countries should meet up and discuss how it affects them and how, if it's something that is good for them, that they should position themselves to become partners or members in the future. Because you can't just wait for somebody to ask you, to come to the ball. Sometimes, well, maybe not the right explanation, because that one you do need an invitation. Don't come to balls uninvited. But so wrong one. Scrape that off. But you have to prepare yourself also to be a part of an international community. Even with the EU and the G7, which was G8, whatever, I don't know how many Gs there are right now. But even them, they had requirements for joining. You had to have, met certain criteria. Your economy had to be growing at a certain rate. You had to focus on that. So they also had a list of things that they required of their members and of the people who wanted to apply as members. So I think that's also something that Africans should look into. What do you need to join the international community, or what do you need to partner with each other? Even to partner with each other, we have to look at what does somebody else have that we might benefit from, or what do we have in excess that we might take somewhere else. And so, yeah, we definitely need to see how we can utilize BRIC, how we can position ourselves to be in a position to, to be members, if that, or to be competitors, if that's what needs to be. Daisy?
Yeah. You've spoken truth. That I'm sensing that. And this is not just you, Tanzania. I see it also in the comment section. Last time I did it, and also right where there is a little bit of doubt or caution to South Africa representing African interests in the BRICS. That actually Argentina actually put in an application just recently, or today, or just they put in an application to join BRICS. So maybe they will. I was saying Nigeria. I know when Nigeria joins BRICS, everybody will be like, every African will really now be like, yeah, now we are deep in Africa now. Now our interests are really represented. But yeah, I think Nigeria should put in an application. I think hopefully, but let's see how far it's going, because although they've been meeting, we are saying that maybe the next I don't know. I don't know how the process of entering BRICS is. I don't know right now. I'll go and look into it, but hopefully soon, yeah, we should have more African countries in BRICS. I think Nigeria should be in BRICS. I think Nigeria should really put an application, and because I've seen Argentina put an application, and in the end of the day, what we want is just an ability to develop in peace.
Yeah, I think actually that Kenya should put in theirs first. Firstly, because because we're more stable. We have all this already, government agencies and so on in the country. The country is not so big as to be able to coordinate, certain activities. It's all in one place. And we already have a lot of the things in place. And we're good at business. We're a diverse country. And Kenya is just way better.
I think the Nigerians will argue with you. you're calling. You know what? I hope maybe Niger is always around in the background somewhere.
Look,
Always.
look, look,
You
look.
know?
You know what else is good? That we have, I think, a much better relationship with SA than they do. Let's just say. So then
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have
yeah,
that
yeah.
everybody.
But the relationship with SA and Nigeria, is different politically and from online we see we see a lot of and fighting between squabbling between people in the SA and Nigerians and South Africans. You see them. There's maybe a little bit of squabbling online, but when it comes to to the political circles, you find Ramaphosa was in Nigeria just the other day. So the politicians are getting along, So
Oh wow, African politics is so interesting. Anyway, but yeah, or we could take a small country and see whether it benefits, because but not too small. Just firstly, they have to meet the criteria of whatever BRIC lays out, and I'm sure it has to be something, a country that is developing or developing. Maybe Ethiopia. Well, actually, I think Ethiopia might be the best of both worlds, because Ethiopia is, as large an economy as Nigeria, and it's, the only thing is strategically, but Ethiopia also has a lot of output and growth, so they might be a good experiment. Ethiopia is open to new technologies, so they might be a good experiment to see, and then maybe if that works out, then Nigeria might also put his hat in the ring. But I think that we should try it out with one country and the rest of us see how it goes, and then maybe we join reluctantly. Or, enthusiastically. If it works out well and it's a great thing, then more and more people will want to be a part of it. I think also just our history has also biased us towards, and maybe made us a bit ignorant in dealing with other people, because we don't know when something is good for us and when it's not. Sometimes you pass up on deals that would have made you rich because you don't trust the other person, and then sometimes you give up a lot because you trust somebody too much. So sometimes we just have to have it on a trial basis and see what works and so on, because even the SAPs at that time, maybe some people knew they were going to devastate economies, but maybe some people also thought they were going to, jumpstart or continue the growth. So sometimes it's ignorance, sometimes it's just, I don't know, fear of doing something different. But I still think that, that's one thing that we Africans have an advantage of, because we can put one country to the test and see how that goes and copy what works for them and what doesn't.
Yeah. Actually, to put here, the only is a South African actually, and she says that politically, South Africa and Nigeria have a great relationship. The leaders get along very well.
Yeah, that's what she said. It's only on the ground.
Kwa ground vitu ni different. But yeah. That's from But you've made sense. Maybe Ethiopia, but Ethiopia, they also, this is why I actually like the president of Ethiopia, Prime Minister Abiy, not the president, Prime Minister Abiy. He is also ambitious, and he has actually developed his own the G4. If you guys haven't heard, I think he talked about it. They haven't yet to meet and have a summit yet, but I think the one is probably going to come soon. Okay. But the G4, which is Ethiopia, South Africa, actually, Nigeria, and Algeria.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like it's now called it's the G4, but I think they have not come up with an official. That's just a placeholder name, I think, until they come up with an official name. The African G4. They call them. The media has called them the African G4. They are trying to form their own summit, and yeah. So, like I said in the beginning of the stream, that the new world order is looking at multilateral. There will be multiple options, and there will be competition. Between probably the Brics. It will be a very interesting competition by the way. Or maybe it will not be a competition. It will just be different people being in both, right? You are having your your Brics subscription, and you're also having your African G4 subscription. You know.
Yes, yes, we have subscriptions everywhere. Yeah, that might be a model that we can follow. But buy power, buy Cameroon World Power, where you have a choice between this one and that one.
Yeah, and that's actually that's what I was saying. That's actually good for Africa because now when you have a lot of options and a lot of now they will at least they will not be we know what our forefathers suffered in the 80s and 90s. Their options were not they were limited to the West, you know. So anything the West says, any policy the West pushes, they had to follow, it, and because of that, a lot of country. And I think you were there when I talk about I think you've seen the stream, guys. If you are in the stream, I'll post the link to that stream, or just just go look at it was about the World Bank, right? It was about debt in Africa. It was about Brics. It was a stream about Brics. So guys, go check out the stream about Brics in the hidden hand, and actually, in fact, there is even is it a table of contents? I don't know what you call it on there, where you can just timestamps. There are timestamps over there, so you can even go and look what type of what we're talking about and within at what time. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm actually, this is a very optimistic stream, and sometimes it's good. We talk about Africa and we tend to go a lot of pessimism. Okay, Biggie. Sometimes we go to we talk about Africa and sometimes we are just oh my god, it's hopeless. A lot of pessimism, a lot of pessimism. And at least now, people, the world is opening up to us. We are seeing now that I'm actually more optimistic about the G4 for the Ethiopian Prime Minister, the G4, the African G4. That one now, I think nobody will complain, and I'm sure now you can say Kenya can enter. What I'm actually cautious about Kenya is that when you go and put your request to the Brics, then they look the GDP. Bala. That's why I was looking. That's why I was a big fan of. That's why I was saying Nigeria, because Nigeria has the biggest GDP in Africa, right? They have the biggest GDP in Africa right now, and they should, and it's extremely exploited. They should, and they have all those minerals. In fact, Nigeria has the most. If there's an African country that has the most potential, it's Nigeria. They have the population of 200 million or something. That's a big market. They have the minerals. They have the oil, they have the minerals, they have the innovation people, they have the youth. All they need is just if the moment things start working out for Nigeria, it becomes a monster, it becomes a huge monster. It becomes the global bigwig, So that's why I was talking about Nigeria, because Nigeria has the huge potential, but they should really add Venezuela. Pai is talking about Algeria is the best candidate in the north. The only says Pai they should add Venezuela 300 billions of oil barrels. But we also have oil in Africa. We have our oil giant in Nigeria.
Yes, that's true. But my only reservation with throwing in, with Nigeria is that they have a lot more to lose. So if they join in and it's not conducive for them, they have a lot more to lose, especially with the oil. So I would want to see like a smaller country try that experiment first, or maybe even Tanzania, a large country that has some resources that they can bargain with or they can improve on, and then we see whether it works, and then we try it on the biggest, the biggest giant in Africa.
Yeah. Imagine, like right now, Nigeria is on its knees, right? But it's still number one in Africa.
Yeah, that's
so that just tells you. that should just tell you how much potential this country has. Like, look now, it's not nothing is happening right in Nigeria right now, and they're still number one. You know, so imagine if things were happening right. Like, it's like so maybe first Nigeria probably if maybe they should just enter Brics so that they are protected by this Russia and China protects them so that they become another, because if there's a country in Africa that can become another Russia and China, it's Nigeria, guaranteed. It's just hands down. They're the one, they have the population, they have the minerals, they have the people, they have the youth, they have the innovation, they have the education, things just need to start working the right, and they become another Russia, they become or a China. Okay, let me invite my sister BJ to
Hey,
comment.
how's everybody?
Welcome BJ. Karibu.
Cable to you.
It means welcome. So for the people, it means welcome. And,
yeah. You know, Swahili nation. At least we have to greet each other in Swahili. You know.
You throw in habari. Habari, you should know that one by now. Nzuri. So habari is hello. How are you? Hey, yeah. And Nzuri is good. So Karibu is welcome. So welcome, BJ.
Thank you. You know, you guys were talking about the Brics, and I guess I'm gonna be negative Nancy.
Devil's advocate.
Usually that's when it is his role, but go ahead.
I mean, it's just that you guys is like South Africa. You know, everything you guys say is like, yeah, you need to see how it works with South Africa, because if they're just using Brics to mimic what is going currently in the United Nations, again, we have like the G8 who makes the final decisions on everything. So I'm like, if they mirror that structure, how is it going to affect the countries within Africa? So then my thing is, those countries in Africa that have the resources need to make sure that they have the power to make decisions. Otherwise, you still have the same entity as the United Nations, just under a different name. You know, because again, China has all these provinces that fall up under under those 1.7 billion people. Russia, I'm not sure how many people are in Russia, but you got, you know, Moscow, Siberia, all these countries are still floating on there. So they have those numbers. But then now if you individualize and keep Africa like individualized entities, and then we let them just sit and go off on each other while we now sit at the back table making the decisions. So my thought process is always make sure you're in a position of power, because you are the ones who are in control of those resources. And if it's not benefiting you, then make sure it's written in that it benefits you first. Just like with the free trade, is the free trade going to be free trade for Africa, or is it free trade for corporations who are doing business in Africa, and therefore now we don't have to pay any of those tariffs, and we get the cost of those products even cheaper? And in the long run, will it then become, well, we got less resources, but we're giving more of our resources over and getting less back from it, because now it's a free trade? Because just looking at the North American Free Trade Agreement with Canada and Mexico, America did not benefit the most out of that agreement. And it has long-term ramifications on the back end. So I'm always like, if you're going to do it, make sure it's going to benefit you most.
Yeah, you've spoken.
Yeah.
You've spoken some interesting points, BJ. Okay, Tanzania, you had something to say before?
No. Good points. I don't disagree at all. You know, you have to see what works for you and whether you're benefiting it. The only thing I would say is that, you know, it's not that people are saying, well, South Africa can't benefit. It actually can, but just be cautious about it and see if you can actually, that should be an open door for the rest of Africa and not, just one country benefiting. And so for the other countries also, we might need to look and wait and see whether it works in one instance, and then see what works and see what doesn't, but not just sit back and say, oh, it's not just sitting back and seeing what works, it's also preparing yourself for that, because any country that's going to survive, you have to be able to, stand internationally. There's no right now self-sufficient country, even the most powerful one. So you'll have to still deal with the international market one way or another. And
Right.
so, yeah, so you have to also prepare yourself and make sure that you're in a position that if they come to your door, you can defend your borders and you can actually protect your own people financially.
So would it be important to form alliances prior to joining BRICS or whatever?
Oh yeah, actually,
so coming as a group of these 20 countries stand as a one unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's excellent. That would actually give them a better position in terms of joining BRICS, because they already have another power base. They already have another, they also have leverage, so to speak. So it's not just coming with an empty hand. Firstly, you have already made the steps towards your country joining, and then you also have the cooperation and the alliance with other countries. So it gives you a better position than just joining to get the benefit. You should also join with some assets.
Yeah, BJ, you've spoken. Yeah, you've spoken the truth. But I think in the beginning of the stream there was this article I was reading, and they were talking about that the difference between BRICS. The Chinese president actually was saying that the difference between BRICS and the G7 is that BRICS now is promoting a different way of doing finances, or doing different systems of different financial systems that are more traditional to the global south, which are more that is what you were saying. So that's why I was saying that I don't think we will be mimicking there will be a mimicking of the G7 or the United Nations. Although it's 2 members or 3 members. I don't know. I don't know if it's India. I don't know if India is in the Security Council, but I think China. I'm sure China and Russia are part of the United Nations Security Council. So they have veto powers and all that. They're permanent members of the United Security Council. So I don't know about India. So I don't think they're going to be looking to replace an organization that they're already powerful in. But,
well, no. I mean, that becomes 2 entities. They have, the United Nations, and now they have BRICS. So now they have 2 entities. So that's 2 powerful forces versus just the one.
Yeah. That's what BRICS is about. It's about promoting multilateral.
So if the African continent does not have a seat at the other table, and if the seat they have at the now new form table is only the children's table, then the power going against you is even more powerful, because you have even less power.
No,
so that's what I mean. If it's not structured the correct way, it can either be the best blessing on the planet, or it can be the best or the worst curse, because you get now more layers between you, and more entities, more debt, more everything coming at you. And in the long run, with China, it's still going to be the China government that's providing those loans and doing all these different things. And we now have this seat in South Africa. You have to give up these resources because blah blah blah. It could become that, or it could become now South Africa. You have a seat at the table. We know that you have resources we need. We also have these resources you need. Let's come to an agreement and find a way for us both to win. So it's like, you got to make sure that you're on the winning side of it, and not just smoke and mirrors and a nice pretty title and and it's business as usual, because we've been playing the same game for the last 2,000 years. Different names, different people sitting at the table, but the same results.
Yeah. You actually, yeah, you've spoken as Marie Antoinette has said. You are absolutely right. That let me not block your yeah. You're absolutely right that it can be a small table. But here's what I think. Here's what I think. Welcome, Marie Antoinette is in the house. But here's what I think. I think the BRICS is not going to replace the United Nations.
No,
I
no, no.
think
It's not going to replace them. It's
no,
just
no,
going to
no.
be now another entity that you
Yeah,
have to
no,
deal
it's
with.
not going to be. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the BRICS is like a group of countries. You see, when I said that China and Russia are in the United Nations, I think India is also in the. I saw them in the council. I don't know if they're permanent members though. But when you see those three countries in there, what happens is that now they have a chance of pursuing, since we have powerful countries like Russia and China and India there, because what you have is now a chance for them to push the BRICS agenda. You know, it's now
Right,
becomes
right,
it becomes now when they go to the United Nations and sit, they're not now they're pushing a BRICS agenda the same way when the
right,
Western
right,
when the Western people go to when the Western governments, the G7, when they sit in the United Nations, they're pushing the Western agenda, right?
right,
So
right.
when
And I mean, everything you're saying is absolutely. If it's structured the right way, it can heavily impact both Russia, Africa, China, India, because again, that's where all the resources are being extracted from. My question is always, you got to make sure it's structured the right way so that you're winning in it and not coming in as an alliance. So, because again, a lot of times we're falling the swords for other people's battles, and then it's like, okay, now you're gonna give me a hand up to get out of the pit. What are you talking about? I don't want to get my nails dirty. So we're just still stuck in the pit and got to figure out how we're going to claw ourselves out of it. So that's why, I mean, we have to make sure it's structured where you're on the winning side of it. The theory sounds fantastic, but you got to make sure that your voice is as strong as everybody else's voice. And if that means 20 countries coming together, 30 countries coming together to form an alliance before you jump into this, because again, you got to look at what the writing is saying. Is it structured in a certain kind of way that will prevent that from happening in the future? That you always have to be individual because you are individual countries. You have to make sure, because again, if you're not coming in a position of power, then you can easily be manipulated.
yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. You spoken the truth. Let me give space to Marie Antoinette to have a say.
Okay. Hi, Miri.
Hi, PJ. I wanted to endorse what you've just said and to just add a few details. Now, let's look at NATO and the EU. Russia has no problem with with Ukraine joining the EU, but goes berserk at the thought of Ukraine joining NATO, because NATO is far more powerful than the EU. What you're saying is absolutely right. These alliances have different rules, and BRICS is powerful, but at the moment still does not have as much power as the G7 or G8. So we have to, even though I'm very, very excited for South Africa, you are right to be cautious about the amount of power that we actually have and whether we will simply be exploited for our resources. I was listening to the program
SABC recently, that is the South African news. This was in one of the archives, and the gentleman being interviewed about the benefits to South Africa, or the role of South Africa in the Brics, could only speak about South Africa's resources. But, well, he didn't address the actual benefits to South Africa at all. And I find this is a cause for concern. So I share your concern, BJ.
Thank you.
I think some of us got disconnected from the internet, though.
Yeah.
Tanzan, are you still there? Tezzy, you there, right?
Yeah, I'm here. Tanzan, are you here?
She looked like she's on mute.
Tanzan, you're on mute. Yeah. She'll be back. I think she's a bit away. Maybe she's probably away from the microphone for her. But she'll be back, maybe having a snack or something, or maybe taking some Robusta. But yeah, what you've spoken is that. So everybody is doubting the power of South Africa in the BRICS, like just to get it like make it clear, like that is what is happening, right? People are doubting.
No, I'm not doubting anything. I just know the way things has always been, and my thing is what are they going to do to change it. So if you join in this, which sounds like a great idea to come together as an alliance where you can control your resources, that's going to benefit you. But in the past, we have joined many things based upon our resources, and it has not benefit us. And because of that situation, we have to be more cautious and more direct on what the demands are. Otherwise, it could be easily manipulated in the contracts and what the agreement, where you don't realize to wait after the fact. Well, unfortunately, we can't do that because the way it was structured, 1820, same thing. 1770, same thing. 1650, same thing. And now you got 2022. Will it be the same thing? Because there's been a history of that. It's not like we're coming from a position of power or even like respect, where we're like, well, we respect South Africa and what it has to offer us. Therefore, we're making sure that their needs are being taken care of and that their voice will be heard, and we're going to come together as one. We have not had a history like that. So therefore, we have to be clear to ensure that it's not going to be the same game, different day.
Yeah. The only is in the comment section. She's actually a South African, and you should actually let me see if I can post the link again, because there seems to be questions about BRICS, South Africa's role in the BRICS, if it's just the same old or if it's something new. Although I think it's something new just because of the circumstances that happening in the globe right now,
And again, just making sure that they are getting what they need out of it, and not the okie doke 10 years down the road or 5 years down the road. I mean, it's just, when you're dealing with contracts, especially in the Western world, you have to be very intricate and very direct on what those terms are and what it says, because they can come back to bite you later, and you are speaking the same words, understanding what each other is saying, have the clarity that you believe this is going to happen, shook hands and thought everything was good, and then they're like, well, yeah, but in that contract page 1775 it states blah 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 blah. Yeah. Sorry, would love to do that, but based upon this contract or this agreement or whatever, we can't. Sorry. Maybe we can get everybody to the table again and sort of vote to see if we want to change this. Oh, I'm sorry. the other country doesn't have time. Oh, well, just have to deal with it.
Yeah, you've put something to perspective here. What is the BRICS agenda? And is it in line with the African agenda? Like, I think just let me just put. I think that's a good question to put just out there. What is the BRICS agenda? Because if the BRICS agenda is in line with the African agenda, right? Because then it wouldn't even matter what African country is in the BRICS, right? Unless the agenda is now not in the African, not in line with what we want as Africans. Then
Well,
maybe
the
now.
thing is that if the Africans want to be in BRICS, they need to come as a 20, 30, 40 country unified alliance. Because otherwise, you still got the same thing. How powerful is Gambia, being as small as it is, going against China? Can Gambia force China to allow their products over there? No, because they're too small to do anything. So if they're not coming in numbers, even the best intentions on the other side would be, well, you're only a small, and you can only give us X amount of, barrels of oil, and we really need we need this much. And we went over to Nigeria. They said they could give us that. I'm sorry, Gambia, we cannot meet your needs. But if they came together as a whole, their voice is going to be louder.
Okay, yeah. Let me give space to my brother Mikes to give his views on what we're talking about today. Mikes, welcome.
Mikes.
Hi.
Hi,
How are
Mikes.
you guys doing?
Oh, good.
Yeah, I've been out for about a week or more, right? It's been a long time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was a little bit busy this week. That's why. I just want to jump in on the topic, and Wanda Tazy, you just asked the question I wanted to know about the BRICS. So just to ship in, is we need to understand, like, South Africa is representing itself, I think, right now. To be honest, I don't have that much information about this group, but they might be representing themselves right now. But in the near future, as an Africa, and the one Africa that we're building, we need to ship in. And as BJ said, we need to put on point first. Like, I believe we need to put on a national level of our demands, and then try to collect the nearest African nations that want that demand and need that demand at the same time. Then we need to form alliance first as an African, with dividing our with the subgrouping our demands on the perspective of the needs we have, and then making an alliance first in Africa. I think the South African maybe route, or even shipping into the BRICS directly, like for example, as an assumption, because I'm into education. Let's say Ethiopia demands education. I can put 10 fingers on that. I believe all African nations demand education. At this time, South Africa demands education because I've done my research on South Africa and how they're doing. And so if we can put that one sector and demand that through the BRICS movement, that I believe so. That's my point.
Yeah.
So we can go through South Africa, or we can jump in, as BJ said, as an alliance of demanding, showing what we're demanding, and put us on the map because of, like, the G70 movement and the BRICS movement will be more powerful, and we can bring up a lot of topics on under this structure to the BRICS.
I would like to address, I agree with everything Mikas has said, and I would like to address the only's question, why are we judging BRICS like it's some imperial group? BRICS, the original intention really was to address the unfair monopoly that the US currency has enjoyed. That was the original intention, and it still is. But because of the nature of the dealings that some of the members of BRICS have had with other nations in the past, this is the reason for our caution in and not being overly excited about being a member of BRICS. Sometimes if you have, as we have suffered in Africa, low self-esteem, then when you get picked for something, you get really excited and not pay attention to potential risks. One is not saying do not join BRICS. It's just that we have to be extremely observant and anticipate problems and plan for them. Because sometimes nations do not play fair. You see, take for example, India is a member of BRICS. During the pandemic, India acted in a way such that the opportunity to create vaccines was taken away from a certain African country and diverted to India instead. That is not playing fair. So that is why we have to be very alert, very observant, thankful to God for opportunities, and at the same time remaining vigilant.
So I think you've answered the question about being vigilant about BRICS, but let me ask a more specific question then. Are there signs? Are there current signs that BRICS is not going to be in Africa's favor?
How will we know when there's only one country signed up?
But there's 5 countries in BRICS. There's 5, right? BRI. Yeah, it's 5 countries. So how many? Like, I don't know, it's expanding to Argentina's joining, and I think Maria Antoinette, you've given a list of other countries. China actually wants to really expand BRICS into like a whole economic bloc, like Algeria, Argentina, Egypt, Indonesia, Iran, Kazakhstan, Senegal, Uzbekistan. So in this list, we have how many African countries do we have in this list that China wants to expand BRICS into? We have Ethiopia, we have Senegal, we have Egypt, and yeah. So there is an intention to put more African countries. If you're looking at the ones that have been invited to this summit to observe.
Yeah, but the thing is that are they going to be aligned with each other on one side? Because you're also seeing Argentina, which is one of the biggest countries in South America. You already got Brazil, which is huge in South America. It probably won't be hard for them to bring in Colombia, Venezuela, or some of the other ones, Uruguay, after the fact, because they got the 2 biggest entities there. If they're coming as one whole group, their voice is going to be much louder versus, yes, we have all the African countries, but they're only dealing with their own individual issues, which is important. But when you're talking about at that level, you have to be unified to get your voices heard. And then after you got that, then you pull back and see, okay, what do Ethiopia need? What does South Africa need? What does Egypt need? After that, because you're coming in as a group and not individual entities. Because if you continue with that, it's like repurposing what's going on with the 54 countries now. Why we have no power, but yet we have all the resources, is because you're coming as one small entity against China, against India. That's what, almost over 3 billion people that they are standing behind those 2 countries. Then you throw in Russia and you throw in Europe. That's one small country is not going to have enough force to get their demands made, let alone heard.
Yeah. So I still haven't understood, BJ. Like, when you talked about, because I've given, are you saying that these other countries, these other African countries, that let me just put my internet's comment. Argentina, I mean Algeria, Egypt, Senegal, and Ethiopia. I think their interests. I don't know. They are. I don't know. I don't know. Are you saying that? I feel like personally, I think the interests are aligned. I think because they're African countries in the first place, and
Well, I
African.
mean, but the thing is, you got to make sure that's the case, and that they're coming, if they're coming as one force. Because
Yeah,
if the other countries are doing that, they're going to have a stronger
but okay.
voice on how things
Argen-
are ran.
Argentina. Okay, Argentina. Let me give you Argentina and wait. I don't know if Cambodia is. I don't think Cambodia is in South America.
Cambodia is in Pacific over there, somewhere near Vietnam and China and all that.
So actually, Argentina,
Pakistan is
Argentina is
up there
not
near
South America.
Russia. Kazakhstan is like near Afghan. Because even if you take Kazakhstan, which is near Afghanistan, then the EU want to then join, and they will make an alliance. You see what I'm saying? Certain groups will make alliance with each other, and they'll still stand as one entity. Malaysia, of course, is in Fiji, Malaysia, and Thailand is over in the Pacific as well.
Okay, these countries,
To
if
be
you
honest,
look at,
let me jump in.
okay, before you jump in, my brother Nikias, these countries, when you look at
Okay.
them, they were all affected. If you remember what we were talking about 2 weeks ago, they were all affected by the SAPs, the structural adjustment programs. That is what they have in common. That the Western system screwed them over. When it comes, the Western financial systems screwed them over. Like you look at Argentina, the SAP, the Argentina right now is trying to beg the Pope. This is from what Maria Antoinette said in another stream before, that the Argentina is actually begging the Pope, because the Pope is from Argentina, to talk to the IMF to forgive the debt. So you find that they are all having issues. These are countries that have all having issues with the current global, specifically with the current financial system that is run by the West. You're talking about those guys, the IMF guys, and the World Bank and the WTO. They have an issue with them. That's why China has called them to come. Hey, you guys, those guys are not having. So there is a common, as you can see, maybe a common interest being forming here. That you can see that they have an agenda that they need an alternative new system, and China is just capitalizing on that. Like China and Russia, okay, but these ones were invited by China, I think, because China really wants to expand the Brics. So China is really capitalizing on this. So so yeah, that's what's you know what we yeah. So what do you think about that? Okay, let me give my brother Mikias, then we'll go back to you, my sister.
Okay. I was just looking at map and like the population levels, and I believe this invitation, as Marie Antoinette listed, is because of like our geographical positionings. Like it's a very good alliance because there's Algeria, Egypt on the northern west side and the northeast, then Ethiopia on the Middle East, South Africa, and Senegal on the west side. So as you said, Mondatezi, this is based on like getting out of the West system and based on financial. And I think this would push us to a more one Africa strategy from a geographical and a population uh, like uh, manipulation of our resources through human resource and even other resources. And I believe that's they invited good nations if they collaborate and agree on the basis of the individual nations' demands. This would be a good uh, alliance, I believe so. I just wanted to add that one.
Yeah. Okay. maybe BJ, what do you have to say about that? You still have
What I said before is that if it's designed where the African nations come together as an alliance first and then go in, then yes. If they're going in as an individual, it gets a little bit. You don't have the power that you do as a group, because like you said, it was Ethiopia. If Ethiopia is going to look at the interests of Africa, and then has, like for example, if Kenya came in and we got South Africa, and you see the resources, then you have leverage. But if you going in, because again, what China is trying to do makes all the sense in the world, because they now want to, control their own resources. They want to now say, well, we can find alternative, because of course they're not getting the terms that they want, because even China being as big as it is, and India having as many resources as it does, it still doesn't have a voice at the table. So they're like, we're going to make our own table. I'm not mad at any of that. I think it's a wonderful idea. My only point is that if you're going in as 54 separate countries with 54 different agendas, items that we need, and you're still sitting at the table trying to bicker about, I want this, no, I want this, I want that, then how are you going to have any power when you're sitting at the table? If you're coming in as a group, as a whole, where we got 30 countries here that have come to agreement that this is the things that we need, then you have a voice. Now, once you have a voice, then you can say, well, like China, so now what do you need? Because I can get this from Nairobi, we can get this from Ethiopia, we can get this from South Africa, we can get this from Kenya. Okay, what is going to be the term where we both win? Makes all the sense in the world. But if you come in as Namibia, thinking they're going to sit at the table and tell China, well, we need this and you should do this because I'm a member of Brics, is that really going to work? That's my only thing. What they're doing, how they're trying to do it, how they're trying to structure the ideal sounds good, but if it's not structured correctly, it may be just another level of the same thing that you're dealing with right now. Brics never did anything to anybody. Well, try having the bricks thrown at you, see how that feels.
Yeah, you see what Pi is also is on that. He's telling the truth. Like Brics never did anything to anybody, so I don't know.
But again, because of the history, we got to make sure that it doesn't. It doesn't.
I know. Okay, maybe it's just my hurt feelings. I agree with BJ fully. I I absolutely endorse what BJ is saying. Now, about sometime last week, one of the Russian officials was talking about forming a new G8, a group of 8 countries. And even though Russia is in Brics, with South Africa as a member of Brics, Russia listed some countries in which it was interested and didn't list South Africa or any African country for that matter. And so I'm wondering, we're not good enough. Brics is for addressing the unfair monopoly that the US currency enjoys. G7 or G8 is for another reason. We are good enough for Brics, but not good enough for G7 or G8. One has to analyze these subtleties.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Maria Antoinette. But if you're looking at the options on the table, right? We're looking at the offers in the table as Africans. This is the only one we've been given, right? This is where when I talk about Brics, this is where we've been given an offer.
Yes.
We're not in the G8, we're not in the G7, we're not in the G. I don't know how. I think we're in the G20. And I don't even know what they do when they meet the G20. They never come up with any. It's the G7 that actually comes up with the decisions. So,
because they
but
don't have power to make those decisions. So anybody else could. It's like how the Congress here in the U.S. you got this House of Representatives. They come up with the laws, the things that they want to be changed, the things they want to be implemented. Then it goes to the Senate. The Senate approves it, and then it goes to the president. So it's almost like the 20 is like the House of Representatives. They could come up with the ideals and they can send it over to the Senate. But if the Senate doesn't want to do it, then it just goes back in the pile.
Yeah, okay. The only saying that we should watch the whole speech so that we can. How long is the speech? My internet, I don't know. How long is that speech?
Which speech? Do you mean the? No, not the speech with the Russian president. This was just an official. He's the chairman of something in Russia. I have to go and look for it again. But I am not against Russia. I'm one of Russia's biggest fans. I'm not. It's just that I'm looking at what is the role of BRICS and what's the role of other alliances, and why are we welcome to some alliances and not others? Of course, I think we should embrace our opportunity to be part of BRICS wholeheartedly. But when we are not chosen, sidelined for other opportunities, I would like to know what are the why are people hesitant to invite us to other tables? I'm not annoyed or upset. I just, felt that what is it that they are hesitant about? That's what I would like to know.
Okay, yeah. You talked about that. If you're talking about what from what you're saying, the Russian minister was what the Russian minister talking about a G8 and involving other non-African countries. But we also talking about, we just talked about an African G4, right? Which is led by the Ethiopian Prime Minister, right? And it's just full African countries. So in the end of the day, we have to take our own initiatives. I would like and Nigeria is there. Maybe we should also I would like Nigeria also to have a huge leadership role when it comes to maybe even forming their own community of countries. Although now it's becoming, I don't know, I think at some point it's now becoming cliquey. It's becoming like it's cliques. It will become almost absurd now, because there'll be so many communities. There'll be African G8, Russian G8, Brics, and maybe that's a good thing for the world, because now there will not be, as long as there is no hegemony, right? I think in the end of the day, if there is no hegemony, maybe I think Africa will benefit, So if
it's only a good thing if your agenda is being met, if your needs are being met. It doesn't matter how many tables you sit in the same room. You all are sitting in the same room. It's the ones who get to speak that are heard.
Do you know what I find entertaining? Anytime I speak to someone from Europe, there is always a resentment, a feeling of resentment towards Germany, because all the members of the EU are claiming that Germany is benefiting more from the EU than any other member. Any person I speak to from Europe holds the same opinion. And that made me think, well, the fact that Africa is not yet, too engaged in an alliance perhaps is a blessing in disguise. I am grateful for the BRICS opportunity, but maybe I should stop complaining about the fact that our names weren't called for the possible new alliance, the new G8 or G7, or whichever they choose to form in the future. We'll see. Time will tell, because it all depends on world events which have not yet taken place.
Yeah, in fact, the only you said that there is an article about the Brics on the South African website. I'm looking. I don't know which website. Maybe you can guide us on which website information about Brics in the South Africa. I don't know which website that is, but if you could, maybe you can guide us and show us what the South African government thinks its role in Brics is. But I get that in the end of the day, every country is just looking out for their interests. That's true. That's just a fact. Russia, I don't think as Africans we should just be waiting for Russia to fight for our own interests. I don't think we should be waiting for China. We should be fighting for our own interests too. So if Russia is forming a new G8, and then it's looking like playground politics now. Everybody's forming their own clique. Everybody, I mean, it's not good. It's going to look very funny, but if they form their own, and even Africa, we should also be looking to form our own. I think Africa doesn't. If Africa just unites properly as Africa, it will be very powerful in its own right. Like it'll have to speak.
Exactly. They should be their main focus, and then we can sit and sign a contract with Brics. That your needs are being taken care of, and not everybody else's.
Yeah, like to be honest, we just need to unite first. But there are like two steps I see. Like we, as an African, we need to unite first as on a mindset level, and then the Russian and the Chinese just want. To be honest, I'm not sure about Russia because they're with Ethiopia. There's a lot of alliance and a lot of factors. So we're like brothers with Russia. But still, as you guys said, everybody's in this for their personal perspective. So first, we need to unite as an African. Then we can be in mutual agreement with the Russia and China because their eyes are on Africa. Like, to be honest, everybody's eyes is on Africa these days. We first need to understand that, and then we need to unite. But still, we can't manipulate our resources at this time because of our history. So I believe we need to first unite ourselves on the mindset, like as the level we can as Africans. Then work with Russia and China. I personally see that perspective. But on the mindset, we need to unite as an African. But to speed up the time is why we need this alliance with Russia. Yeah, to be honest, just to speed up our uniting process is why we need Russia and China. Because we've tried it with the Americans and the Europes. And personally, as in Ethiopia, that's not working. It's just causing more trouble. So that's my perspective.
I agree.
Welcome. First of all, welcome Nat Nile Samson. Welcome Nat Nile to the stream. Yeah, we're talking about the Brics question. We're talking about the news that happened this cycle, that the Brics actually had a meeting this week. So yeah, we just had to question that and put it here and discuss it. And let me give space to my sister. Wait. There's a comment from the Only before we give Tanzan. Tanzan is back. She's been silent. So hence, she's talking about when Maria Antoinette was talking about how the EU is not even united, right? So, because Germany, the US is working with NATO to take down Germany industries. I don't know. I don't know what this is, but the EU in itself is not united, right? So I think people are looking at that and saying that even they look at Asia, Asia is not united. Then they look at, I don't know, America. I don't even, America is united with maybe Canada. Those are just two countries.
No, they're united with a lot more countries than you think.
No, I'm talking about in their continent. I'm talking about in the continent of America, in the Americas. It's like Canada and America. Is there? I mean, I don't know. From Mexico going downwards, it's another people.
Well, we have the North American Free Trade Agreement I had mentioned earlier. What they thought is by opening up the border, getting rid of the tariffs between Canada and Mexico, America thought, oh, this is going to be perfect. We're going to be able to produce and generate more, revenue. What happened, I think, is Canada and Mexico decided, oh, we're going to work this in our favor. So now it's just, United States is just a highway to get the items from Canada into Mexico.
Yeah, but
so that's why I sort of said what I said is that you got to make sure what you're agreeing to on paper is going to benefit you in the long run, because what you assume is going to happen may not happen.
Yeah, but I was talking about since these other continents have not yet united, are having trouble uniting till today. Some are old, as some of these countries are.
But do you think Mexico and Canada and United States even like each other? No, they find an alliance in what benefits each other, and they work on that. They say, yeah, okay, I'm gonna never invite you to dinner, but look, as long as I can get my, cars coming in from Canada at a cheap rate, we're good. That's all it is. It's just an agreement.
But NAFTA was like then Donald Trump just tear that agreement just the other day and create a new one.
If it's a new one, it hasn't gone into effect because it's still the same thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
The border of Detroit, and you look at how huge the United States is the busiest border in the country. That's the border connected to Canada. I thought it might have been Buffalo, but no, it's coming from Canada, heading down, going down 75, going over to 10 coming into Texas, and heading on to the Rio Grande. Easy peasies. So that opened up a lot for Canada. Heading on to
Hello? I had
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, yeah. You've spoken. Yeah, there is. That's trade between Canada and USA. Like I said, it's just two countries that have. United.
No, that's three. That's Mexico, Canada, Central America. Really, Mexico, Central America, North America, the North America Free Trade Agreement. So that's
but we also have the African
Free Trade North America, Canada, Ecuador, Nicaragua, Mexico. It's all of Central America. Because again, you got the Panama, so you got the Panama Canal, which then connects everything that's coming from Europe because it's coming through the Panama Canal. And that's why they want to build another path through the canal so they could get more goods coming through. Because the Panama Canal is not wide enough for all those container ports, ships coming through.
Okay, yeah. You've spoken about the free trade agreement, right? Africa actually has them, and
so that's why I reiterated it has to benefit you, because if it doesn't and it's not written in, if you're not coming in as an alliance of countries, then you won't have the power, the strength to force what's going to be in your best interest. Because everybody's winning. It's just how much is somebody going to win? How much is somebody going to lose? Because again, it's always going to be a winner. It's going to be a loser. Not everybody's going to get everything they want, which is fine. But you just want to make sure, because you have been sitting in the same position for so long, millennium after millennium after millennium, then maybe it's time for things to change in a way that you're at least getting something out of it and not just all your resources dumped on a ship and building up the world. That was my only point in all of that. And if Brics can create that, then yes. I mean, it sounds like a very good, like, again, different funding model. You're not gonna have to depend on all the European banks, but you also have to sit up there and sit down and say, how do we structure this for Africa where we're gonna be on the winning side and not on the losing side? And that's why I'm saying, like, if the countries came together, you come together as strength. Because in that way, you're sitting at the table as strength. But if you're going in as individuals, are you going to be individual pawns to knock each other off so that then these other entities are always going to win and get what they need? Because everybody's looking out for their best interest, which they rightfully supposed to.
Yeah, okay. But let me speak my point. Then we'll go back. We'll go to Tanzania. Then look at Maria Antoinette's speech that she has. The link she has posted here. When you're talking about the unity of the NAFTA agreement, the free trade areas agreement by the North American. Yeah, I forgot. Okay, that agreement. It really, if you look at Mexico, the Mexican people, they don't like it because it's really oppressive, because it has allowed American capital to come and take over their farms, to take over their. It has led to higher cost of living, higher cost of food, and low wages because it's there. And then it has actually infringed on the sovereignty of Mexico. Because sometimes it has been proven that sometimes, not multiple times actually, that when the Mexican government can put in a law, and it can that law under the free trade area, that law is maybe they want to raise wages on specific workers under the free trade area. They can go to court, and this court is not even. Not a Mexican court. It's not any other. It's just a court that has been made by that deal, and
it overrides everything.
Yeah. You've heard of that, right? So it's not so that's what I'm saying. This when you say, oh, we are united, but this is not. This is a very it's a very oppressive deal that the one.
Yeah, and that's what the only leery part I have with the Brics is going to be, because again, everything on this planet is copy paste. Put a new label, create a new word, which means the same thing that did in the past, but the word was different, and nothing really changes. So that's why I'm sort of saying what I'm saying is that you got to make sure you're looking at every letter, and analyze it and decipher it, because people could put things in and you don't even realize what it is. And then again, you may know what it is, and then later on they redefine what it is, and then you still wind up being on, like you said, like with Mexico, on the losing side. Because, somebody's got to win, which means somebody's going to lose. And depending upon how it's structured, you don't realize you're signing yourself up for a loss. So that's why you have to come with an allegiance and alliance of strength and not of weakness. If you're going to sit at that table and start signing your country's lives away.
Yeah. Let's give space to Tanzan. Tanzan, you've been silent for a couple of minutes.
I was doing.
How have you been?
I'm good. That's you do that. For me, I think that the whole talk of unity is something that we might strive for, but we should not really make a priority, because it's not something that we need in order to get ourselves out of the situation. The main problem is one that, it's economic, it's politics. We can talk about setting aside our differences, which is possible, but unifying, that's another level altogether. But what we can learn from other groups is that they don't need to unify. They just need to have a common purpose. Once you know what the common purpose is, whether it's to get more land or enrich everyone or become, the best and so on, that's what it becomes. So even if you have to work with people you don't necessarily like, even if you have to go across borders, even if you have to deal with people, because if you look at it as a sports game, when you're playing sports, you don't have to like the person, your teammates. First of all, it's good to have some sort of loyalty, but you don't have to like all your teammates. And also, more importantly, you don't have to like the people that you're playing against. The rules are there, and you play them, and you try your best to win. So instead of talk about unity, we should just talk about maybe not unity, but seizing fire. Working together, putting aside, and sometimes not even putting aside, working through the differences, because there has never been a time when everybody got along anywhere in the world. But as long as you say, okay, we might not get along, but we need to do this thing so everybody can eat and survive, I think that's the more important thing. And the importance of making alliances. It's the alliances that really help, not so much, you can be unified with somebody, but if they're not helping you in any way, that's just a good feeling. But if somebody is not maybe your best friend, but they're in a position to bring you up and to help your people, then we should still also consider such things, but knowing that you're going to get it for your own advantage, not just for kicks. So yeah, look out for our own, be ready to work with both people that we don't like, and to work with each other and create alliances between ourselves and other people, advantageous ones. Yeah.
Thank you, Tanzan. Yeah. Okay. Before Miki says something he wants us to see, but before, let me check out this. Let me finish this article that Maria Antoinette has given us. The group of 8 countries not participating in the sanction was China, India, Russia. Wait, who said this? Who's this? Russia's Duma speaker. Is that like the parliament of Russia or something? Or the Russian Duma is what? Is it the Russian? Is it the Russian Senate or something? I don't know. My internet.
Hi,
can you guys hear?
Mondetesi, I'll be right back. My baby nephew is here. I'll be right back. I'm coming. I just need 3 minutes. Okay.
Okay. As we wait for Maria Antoinette, anybody know what the meaning of Russia? Okay. I'm guessing it's the Russian Senate. That's just the Russian parliament. So the speaker of the Russian parliament is alluding to a new Big 8 group that has China, India, Russia, Indonesia, Brazil. Basically, it's Brics without. Yeah. I see it now. Yeah, it's Brics without South Africa. And they added Mexico and Turkey and Iran because it has nuclear weapons. So yeah, it's yeah. Now I understand everything. Now I see it. Okay. Now I see it. Now let me. I don't know if the link is. I think the link is already on the comment section, guys. So yeah, now I see all the doubt is coming from where now. Oh man, yeah. So yeah, we should definitely unite and come up with our own options, because now you see if this is how Russia is speaking.
Okay, I'm back. You were asking who is the speaker. That's the the head of the lower house of parliament. That's who.
Yeah, yeah, we have seen it. He's talking about. He's talking about. Let me see. Is it? It was Brics. I saw all the Brics members apart from South Africa. I saw it's China, India, Russia, Indonesia, Brazil, Mexico, Iran, Turkey. So basically, all the Brics members apart from South Africa are in it, and then there is Indonesia, there is Iran and Turkey, and Mexico. So they've added 3 minus 1. So, but they're looking at this
So
in
my
terms of.
question is, why would they leave one out?
Yeah. Now I
It's
see.
not
I
like
see.
leaving 4 or 5. We're gonna take 7. It's like just 1.
Yeah, I see. I've seen it. So it's looking like Brics can be suspicious. Have you seen how many? Oh, by the way, Mikias, what did you want us to check out?
I just wanted to point out, like, by the way, we are having a lot of, I don't know, let's say, cut off information. I believe that's reaching out to us. That's my point of view. So we can't be sure a lot of things that are happening that far away through borders, to be honest. And second point, like the thing I just wanted to pick up was, I think Tanzan was saying, like, giving us an example about game. Like, we might not be the same, but if we're wearing the same jersey, we need to unite as one. Like, we might to win at least a game, because so first we need to understand who we're coming up against. Then we need to like formulate a way that we can win this match. So to this platform, we're sharing informations, right? Like from the ground up. We're not, I believe, we're all not that much authorized to do anything at this time to a national level, but we can at least provide information on, like, the topic today was hidden hands, right? So first, I just want to pick up like one of the main hidden hand agendas that is happening right now is like is focusing on the youths of Africa. Because I'm speaking it through all my heart to say this, because they're really focused on our youths. To be honest, they're strong. The hidden hand is very strong. We need to know what we're going against, and they're working on our youths. I have a lot of like documents about this, and even Ethiopian people are really publishing their own books based on inside information from what's happening on the especially the G7s there, who are planning a lot on Africa, and we need to be awakened about that. We need to be conscious, and they're working on our youths to be. They just want us to forget Africa. They just want they just want to grow up kids that are more European than they want to be African. So I believe that's the main agenda as an African we should focus on.
But the thing is, that's always been the agenda. I think they sort of distract us and we forget.
Yeah,
They
that's
always
what
go
they
after the children. You train a child
appreciate it.
to go,
Yeah,
and that's where he's gonna go. And they
yeah,
know this.
because
They've always done that. And we have to, like you say, open our eyes and
we
see.
yeah, like, because we need to be visionary, because the topics that are we're picking up right now are like gonna be 180 when we wake up tomorrow. Let me tell you, 100 on that. Because BJ, you raised it earlier. Like, they're just covering up and giving it another name, and same thing. Covering up, giving it another name, same thing. That's what the devil does. He just comes in different colors. Like, God is the only one. and that's freedom. And I believe as an Ethiopian, I'm lucky to be born in this nation.
But you know, the
Everyone
scariest
is
thing
too.
is, why
Yeah,
do we keep going for the same okey doke over and over and over and over again?
because the values that we set as life is based on their perspective, so they know how to master that. I believe the like I've set out my research, and like because Ethiopia and Russia are so aligned through a lot of things. One is on the common values of their people. To be honest, we're not exercising it right now. I can back you on that, but at least on the ground, the people are breaking out of the struggle by just trying to unite. And like sometimes, you know what we do here? We pray for our enemies, because if our enemies are like to raise their like to be themselves and to understand that human value, because if we understand that human value, we can help everybody. But a lot of
But
us
you know,
are caught up on the bad things, and that's on
but the thing is, when you pray for your enemies, when you're praying for someone, you're often praying for them, for their wishes and
no,
their
no.
desires to manifest
No,
itself.
no, to be honest,
And we may be thinking we're praying for the opposite. They're taking your prayers and say, "Give me what I want," and this
uh,
and things never change.
yeah, this is like the right point I just wanted to come up against. Then there's a point, there's a line, right? Like even we need to understand the manners of like the God, because God is he has his own character, right? Like if we understand deeply about that, he wishes and takes you to the last end to beg for his merciness, and he shall forgive you. But there's time for judgment. And I believe that it's really soon. Like we can see it, right? We can't hide it. The chaos that's happening on a daily basis is the judgment is getting real close. So we need to be aligned and work together and see that vision as an African, because we're gonna go past this while everybody's gonna be in chaos, because that's a prophecy that the Bible has never missed a single prophecy, and that the next one is that. And may God make us see those days, all of us. I just want to wish my blessings to everybody, and we need to be conscious about this kind of things, not the daily shifting things. To be honest, I swear to God, because that this is just time consuming, because I only love two agendas, to be honest with you. The main agendas I like on this channel are those two: education and the hidden hands, because the hidden hands is the things that are making us shift our focus. The focus should be on the education and the youths, because uh, it's gonna be 180 tomorrow, but the powers with, I believe, like I said, Russia is more focused on this kind of things, because they know a lot of information about what's happening with the hidden hands and like how devilish shit they do. That's why sometimes you need to eliminate it. Like Putin is like on the judgment basis of God, to be honest. We're on the pleading side of God. That's the main things that are happening. So we need to understand this. I don't want to be aggressive, but I just jumped into the hidden hands. I was hoping for this kind of stuff, but on the Brics, I know it's happening. We need to follow up on the politics and everything, but trust me, like you should start. Tanzan, your niece was just arrived, right? Amanda Taser or Tanzan? I just I just get emotional speaking about this kind of. We need to focus on the youth. Just teach them. That's the main thing like, that can bring you down to peace, because I'm on this tone because the past week about Ethiopia, there's a lot of chaos. I know there's a out there, but
But
sometimes,
we have
yeah,
to
yeah,
teach them to love every inch and cell of themselves, no
yeah,
matter where they're coming in the pits and the mud and don't have shoes on their feet. Don't matter. You love yourself, then you won't fall for all this. But
yeah,
they constantly put negative thoughts, negative images, negative everything, and you think less of yourself instead of think that you are a king, you are a queen. There's nothing in your mind that you can do and can't accomplish. And if you look at the history of both on your side of the Atlantic and mine, you saw people who had nothing create some of the most powerful discoveries, developments, as the saying goes, made something out of nothing, and it's still going on. But we don't see that connection when we look at ourselves in the mirror. If that child sees themselves as an entity, as a god, as a goddess, and that there's nothing on this planet that they can't accomplish as long as they have the most high blessings upon it, they're unstoppable. But if I can get that child at a young age to see that they're worthless, that they can't do anything, that they're less than anything, and everywhere you go, you constantly see that reiterated over and over again, why the way we're treated, the way you're spoken upon, then they take that upon themselves and they become those things that these people are trying to spew into their head. They're not, the other entities are not forcing them to be that, but they're putting the seeds inside of them so that they create it. And we have to start to put some weed killer on that mess, so all that mess starts to die.
Yeah, and that's, I swear, that's the responsibility that we have, because I'm fighting against this. It's a really hard agenda, but sometimes God chooses you to fight on some battle in front, on the left or the right or behind, through any route. So this is the route that, BJ, like you said, we need to make them believe and understand who they really are. And that comes through knowledge. Because you bleed red blood. I bleed red blood. Everybody bleeds red blood, right? So we need to understand what that value is, because all this blood shredding is just not the human nature. Because I believe most of us are in here are Christian, right? Jesus shredded his blood. That's over. He doesn't want no bloodshed from that on. I know it was meant to be. It's the prophecy. The Bible needs to fulfill itself. But sometimes the Bible has an end too. Like, it just shows us until right now, and the world is ending. We can back that, but the world is ending, meaning the world philosophy, not the world like everybody must die and all that shit. The world philosophy, that greed, that lust for money, that lust for power, that lust for having everything, that lust for, like, lust in every form. It's on a physical form, on a psychological form, that was created, because that's what the devil does. He
And like you said,
created an image on Eve, right? Like,
and you said once someone dies or once a woman gives birth, what happens? They're in the most pain, most prevail. They're screaming, they're yelling, they're fighting, and that's what this world is doing right now. It's trying to survive. This system is not going to go out without a bunch of punches. So we should expect that. But God's will is going to prevail regardless. And we have to make our decision on which side of the fence we want to sit on.
Yeah, let me jump in with facts. Like, try to look into the European philosophies that we've consumed. I was just looking up on this book, like I said, like one of the hidden hand books. It's like the Antichrist movement book. It's published in Ethiopia. It's in Amharic, so if you guys have access and know Amharic, you should read it. And it tells you every detail and how this chaos started from Europe and went to North America, and then come back and touched some parts of Asia, and then finally came down to Ethiopia and Africa. Like, it came through all the sides through colonialism in Africa and everywhere. It touched everywhere. And these are some like groups after the, what was it called, like the Noah Ark. This is history, by the way. Sometimes when we talk about Bible and like this and stuff, most people spiritual shit and stuff like that. But no, this is history. By the way, let's respect it from a history perspective. Beliefs are personal, but throughout history, we need to look into every knowledge that we can consume. So through history, this happened, that happened. So the same root that came from Adam and Eve reached to Noah, and God, like I said, He was trying to be merciful. He was pleading to them, but they were still partying. The water came up, still partying to their waist came up. Noah was telling them the time is coming. It went up to their waist, to their chest, to their neck, even to above their eyes, but they were still partying with their hands out of the water.
My one question
God
is,
is judgment. Yeah. So I just want to say, look into a lot of details and look through Ethiopia, because Ethiopia are, I swear to God, like it's not easy. Like our people are poisoned over here too. South Africa, like I picked up, is one of the most poisoned places in Africa. Like
and the
I
thing
can
is,
bag it.
back then they were stiff necked people. We still are, so we have to change our ways. You know, our
Yeah.
arrogance, our stubbornness, our
Mhm,
anger. We have to let all that stuff go and go to God.
mhm. And let me jump in with a knowledge. Look through the Bible throughout the world. Like I can back you. We can touch on every religion. You know which religion has the most fulfilled scriptures? It's the Ethiopian Orthodox Church with 80 chapters of the scripture. 80. 81, I think. 81. No. 81. It's called Samania and Ahadu, meaning Samania 80, Ahadu meaning 181 scriptures. Search the Russian alliances, because we follow most of our sentimental values are the same. They follow the 75 chapter Orthodox, most of them, the population wise. The Catholics, 72. The Protestants, 66. So, but we all value God and believe in afterlife. But you know what the hidden hand, the devilish movement does? It goes through inside this movement, as we see. You know why the Europe are so messed up right now? Because they went into the Catholic Church and messed it up. So now we're against the Catholic Church because they're valuing and giving out homosexuality marriages. I'm not saying I respect them as humans, but their ideology is not right. So they went in through that. See, so you start in one way accepting those things, in a second way you start, oh man, like if Christians are doing this, why should I believe in God? Then you're vulnerable to do anything, to even sell your country, even sell your continent. So first, as you BJ said, we need to understand God first. We need to talk to God first. Then understand the character of God. What does He want from me? Miki Shavala, respect my brother. Like I can back you with 10 fingers. He's more Ethiopian than, I don't know, a lot of Ethiopians in Ethiopia right now, because we're in a time where we're what's this called? We're sick with this tribalism shit, with this some division thinking on a town basis shit with it, but we still have the full culture that came through start of the ages of Adam till now. We have a lot of history books that haven't been touched, that it can explain everything about chemistry, about physics, about biology. Even, you know how many worlds that we believe in? We have 20 worlds in our teachings. There's 11 or 12 planets right now, right? There's 20 planets through Ethiopian documents that are written on some Brahana, it's called Brahana, it's all the scriptures. There's 20 planets. If we start teaching our children about this kind of stuff, you know, this is how Lalibela was built, how Aksum were built. I believe you guys know about Lalibela, right? It's through this kind of knowledge that they built this kind of stuff, and we have a lot of things to share. Like, we're just focused on the wrong stuff, and they made us focus on the wrong stuff. That's what their main agenda is, trying to say, this is okay, because if you have a full belly, like, sometimes you can't think. Like,
Well,
that's why.
they're master manipulators, and the divide and conquer has been working for them for millenniums.
Mhm.
So why change it? Why change it? We just throw something out there, get them fighting, make them think that they're different when they're not, and then throw a little conflict in the middle. We've sent our little spy in there, and then they'll be battling for years, and we don't have to worry about them. And we fall for it every time.
Yeah, to be honest, this is a time where the spies are not even hidden anymore, because in Ethiopia, personally, we've differentiated a lot of things, because there's a saying: if a wolf eats your ram at daylight, don't be worried about the wolf. Be worried about the protector, the what's it called, the guide of the rams.
Shepherd.
Yeah, the guide of the what was it called? Like, I forgot the exact word. Meaning that when, if you know, like, when sheeps are in Ethiopia, especially, there's a person that guides the sheep, right? Where to go, where to drink water.
The shepherd.
Like, yeah, the shepherd. Yeah. Be afraid of the shepherd. I believe we need to be afraid of all our shepherds right now, especially what's happening to Ethiopia. We need to question a lot of things, because they created a generation which doesn't question anything. Like God even gave us the right to question without passing our limits, by believing we'll get answers, right? We question. That's how we get knowledge. That's how we answer our problems. Like, let's question everything. Like, but not on the basis of limiting ourselves, because this flesh is going to die, but this consciousness of ours is going to live forever. So we try to at least implement it, I don't know, to the youths, to maybe 10 individuals. If we have a lot of force, 10,000 individuals. If you have more, 10 million. And it goes further than that. Then you can bring change. But they're making us talk about some people who are talking and now repeating the same thing the next day. We have a lot of bullshit medias that are talking about the wrong things. It's chaos, to be honest. If you don't go to your neighbor and, like, see it on the ground and stuff like that, you don't get real information, because from top to bottom they can't see. I think we're too far apart, to be honest. They think they're on the God level. No, man, we believe in the God that we don't see. We don't believe in this economic stuff. We're beyond that. Like, if I was suppose if I'm not willing to eat or skip breakfast, they can't overprice the what was it called, the food sector, because they can't control you. You can be beyond that, but if you're just one, it's hard, as we've seen in Ethiopia. They even try to cut off. They already cut off Eritrea. Then they're now trying to cut off Tigray. It's not gonna happen, because God is on our side. But I just want the world to understand this and see it, why they're focused on there. Because if they pick out the roots and the youths
Yeah.
We're too busy on partying. To be honest, I was a partier myself, but life changes when God chooses you. Sometimes He just shifts you from one one end to the other in a short period of time. Like I sometimes
Yeah,
questions
and
the point I'm
sometimes
right now. No,
we
yeah.
have to be honest with our kids and not try to protect them from the horrors of reality. Because sometimes
Hmm.
if you tell them about the horrors of reality, they like, oh, well, I don't want to be dealing with that, and they'll sit and stand strong and fight more. But if you keep them coddled and comfortable and try to shield them too much, then when they see the horrors, they don't believe it because it doesn't affect me. Everything's great, and I'm living well, and I've never felt that. I've never saw that, and so then someone says, "Oh yeah, you know what? They're telling you lies. Those things never happen." And so then they believe that person instead of believing the truth. So sometimes I think you have to explain the whole story, good, bad, or indifferent, ugly, whatever the little, you have to let them know so that they are coming from a position of strength because they have knowledge of what's going on. But if we try to shield it because, it's uncomfortable or just uncomfortable just saying what was really going on, it's not helping our kids. Because then they're coming they're coming walking with a blind spot, and with that blind spot, it can be manipulated.
You're right, and we just have to be brutally honest because, to be honest, uh, we don't know what's gonna happen in the next 20 minutes. But sometimes, in our teachings, this is not our country. We're above this because, like I said, Lalibela was not built on the architects of someone that was on the ground. He had the vision with talking so much with God that he received a promise to build the Jerusalem of the heavens on the ground. And everything is symbolic. It has so much detail. Like you can go to Mika Shavala's uh, visiting of Debra Selassie in Gondar. You can go to that video. Like every detail of the worshiping process has its own value, and that was created by himself, God through people. Like, and he picks you. Like, so are we ready for that though? We all need to ask that question, to be honest, because I personally try to take good stuff from like every person that I encounter, and like J. Cole said on the one track, the good news is you came a long way. The bad news is
You went the
you
wrong
came
way.
the wrong. Yeah. So first, you need to accept that.
Man,
So
you're a man of culture.
yeah, like because you know why? Because like I said, we all bleed blood. Like harassment here in Ethiopia is the same as the harassment there in the U.S. Like he came up. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know his background, but like as a dark-skinned person, he came out to, I believe, sufferings, and he had to go through some route to reach the top. He might have done a lot of shit, but he's human. Like God, in God's image, we're all the same. Even the people, I don't know, to be honest. On Judgment Day, I might be different, but we can't even judge Hitler. We can't even judge massacre causers because I don't know. We don't have the right. You understand me? Like we can give out our point of views, but we don't have the right. That's why we pray for everybody and not point fingers on nobody. And if we understand those core values, like earlier was picked up, we're wearing the same jersey. We're not the same, but we're fighting for the same team, and that's good. And who's on the other side? The evil. Then you can understand. We might have differences in the same team, but once the whistle is blown and the match is started, it's all in. Win, 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 win. So I just want to like pick up this one of this hidden agendas. There's a lot of book of that like in detail and how programmed, how organized they are, how did pinpoint their programming us. Like sometimes, like I don't have to say this, but at this time, our phones know us more than our mothers and fathers. Sometimes we need to question: Do I really know myself as much as my phone does? Because let me tell you, the next generation, uh, the next generation civilization. Let me tell you that Wakanda stuff is not only based on technology limit; it's the spiritual. Because if you master, you can be alone in this world and still master those power that you have inside of you. He, I read this saying earlier today. He's one for his mother, but billions for his enemies. It was a quote for Jesus. We have a lot of quotes in Ethiopia. To be honest, we have on them on taxis, on transportations, and like you entertain yourself and motivate yourself through this different quotes. It's one of our social values, and I'll translate most of them for. I'll prepare them for translated in English. And there's a lot of things that you can enjoy by just socializing, and then you can create friends in the taxi. Oh, you see that quote? Hi, how are you? You see that quote? Isn't that funny? Isn't that serious? Isn't that inspirational? And then you create friends. I know people I made on the taxi by just looking at different quotes and talking on the same topics. And I just wanted to say that, and we're on this, all in this together.
Thank you, my brother Mikis. Can always trust you to give us a spiritual angle of the hidden hand, which is always in a good note. Guys, I haven't been I think active telling you about the Swahili Nation One Africa funding, and yeah, guys, in the name, just contribute what you can, and help us build the office and build One Africa, build Swahili Nation One Africa. Yeah, I think you had a lot about it. I don't think I need to. Maybe let me play. Nah, you guys have already seen it. You've heard a lot about it. I don't think I can add anything new to what you already had. So you just contribute what you need, my people. Doesn't matter how much the amount. Any amount is helpful, as long as we achieve the goal and get to help a lot of people. And in the name of, since we are in the way where we've moved into the spiritual realm of things. In the spiritual, let me post a link that let me share a link that my sister, my final link probably, then we'll call it a night. There was somebody came on the comment section and asked us to put it through. So here we are. So groups in Morocco and Spain push for some. Yeah, there are some. A couple of Africans died today, guys. This is the border between Morocco and Spain, and you can see our brethren here. the bottom of it, doing the most to just cross over to Europe, man. And it goes back to what my brother was talking about, conditioning. Mickey has talked about that a lot, conditioning. But these guys, they've never seen Europe. They've never been to 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 South Africa. They've never been to East Africa. But they want to go to Europe, guys. So it shows just how bad the conditioning is, that they, in their minds, in their minds, I think BJ has dropped off. In their minds, that Europe is their heaven, And I've seen this. I wish I could get that video of somebody, a taxi driver. He says Europe is heaven. He just said it openly, like Europe is heaven. Like this is the conditioning that is just happening around all over Africa. And I don't know. I just wanted to point it out because it's part of the news that somebody showed, and it just demonstrates how much work we have to do when it comes to the mental war or the mental fights we have. I think it was Ruth and Dala. Have you seen? Yeah, it's Ruth and Dala that pointed this story out. So yeah, this is the fight that Africans we have to fight as Africans. Biggie put. I think Biggie he dropped up also. I don't know where. I wonder if he's in the background. But Biggie also, when in the beginning of the stream, he put up a link and about something about the AU, and a lot of it was talking about education, right? Sometimes. I don't know. I think education can help us a lot, especially when it comes to conditioning our minds to just love ourselves, to love just that genuine, just loving our own country, loving our continent, to the point that, because you see people risking death. Like, is Africa that bad? Like, people risking death. Like, they know that your chances, the 10% chance you'll survive this, 90% chance you'll die. They'll take those odds. And this person is from a village. Like, is it that bad? Is it that bad? It's like, yeah, that's just what I want. Anybody has anything?
Let me chip in on something. Let me tell you guys. We have throughout history, like I said, through old books that were written by our ancient findings. Because it's in Guz, even most of us can't access it here in Ethiopia. We need translators, we need teachers. And when it was translated, and when I was following this friend of mine is a teacher, like, I know him, but he's a teacher. And you know what he said? A human being has 3 intelligent organs in his body: his mind, his heart, and his kidney. Like, his mind is programmed through external environments, right? His heart is the processor, it's the engine that powers it. His kidney is that gut feeling that is if you master your kidney, like, that comes through belief, because sometimes you have that gut feeling, oh, it's not gonna be good today and stuff like that. Like, so you process it to your heart, and your heart, when it processes it, it gives it fuel, it engines it, and then your brain starts to only recognize the bad things that are happening. But you can change that. Like, this is one of the main tools right now. Like, everybody here, I want you to practice this. It's gonna be tough, but it's only gonna strengthen you. Every day you wake up, you might listen to bad news, but try to see opportunities in that. And then belief, like the thing that comes to the kidneys, belief. It gives steam for your heart, and then you power the engine, and then you master powering the engine, and then when you pump blood to your brain, then you will find solutions about a lot of things.
So hello everyone.
And try to master that, my brothers.
Welcome, I can fire. Welcome. Let's let me just say in the beginning, let's not be controversial or insulting people. Let's keep it G-rated. That's it. Welcome, I can fire.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. To tell you the truth, I am normally a person who try to keep consistency with intelligence. It's just because of, okay, what my bro was speaking of a while ago, that I interrupted. I want to tell you that I appreciate what you've been saying, because I think I am in that zone where I go off my kidney and process it through my heart and analyze it with what is external that's influencing my brain, and therefore I have declined the confidence of what I have previously learned as a kid and reanalyze things. You feel me? So why I'm so determined and sometimes hostile is because there's an acknowledgement in my view that a non-tolerance approach is necessary at times when there is arrogance, when there's an arrogant ignorance in dominance. You feel me? And then I'm not perfect, so I have my way of doing it. You feel me? Other people have their way of doing it, but it's like who do we want to win, and what are we willing to accept? Are we okay? I hear Tezzy speak a certain way, and to me, you all just coming around to what I've been saying. You feel me? Are we willing to accept defeat? Feel me? And do we care if the opposition of goodness wants to win? Do we care? We don't care, because we want Pan-Africanism. We want respect for Black people. We want respect in the education system towards the Black skin, so we can get some peace. You feel me? So we can get some tolerance towards each other. You feel me? So I'm really aggressive because of the aggression. You feel me? And because I'm a man and I'm taking charge of Pan-Africanism and Black liberation in my personal hands. I don't care about the other and how they think. You feel me? I'm just showing people that, and showing other men that, take charge of your own life, and in the mission of stop making our women safe. You feel me? And making our children safe from hearing certain things and seeing certain things. You can go ahead now, my people.
You're right. I just want to say hi, Icon you're right. You're definitely right. You need
Hello,
to
sir.
push. You need to push as the level of you're being pushed. I totally agree on that.
Thank you. Thank
Especially,
you.
especially on the environment basis that you're in. See, I personally don't support war through human beings because I have my own structured belief, like you said, we all do. But the point that I've reached into is even through my belief, it says you need to push on the level you've been pushed. You need to kill on the basis of the level you're willing to die because it's on the ideology level. Because nobody's perfect. Judgment is in with the most high hand, but at least while processing all this, you need to feel your brother, especially as you said, the black skin has been through a lot. Uh, Even the whites have been through a lot through history. If we looked at out through history, there's a lot of things that I didn't know and have lately, not even that far, this week, have noticed they've suffered a lot as people. To be honest, let's put it into consideration as uh, the civilian level. Every civilian in the world has suffered throughout history because that love for greed of power and to be treated as gods has been on the minds of the human because the sometimes the mind can be
Okay.
poisoned.
All
Yeah,
right. But
to be
this is
honest,
what.
on the mind
Okay.
because the mind has been sometimes been poisoned. My mind has some levels been poisoned through the past. Like
I
I
want to
didn't
say
just
this.
okay, yeah.
I want to say this. Outlaw. If you may,
Mm-hmm,
we need one aim, one
mm-hmm,
destiny.
mm-hmm,
We don't. We are in it to win.
mm-hmm,
So our energies. It's like this. We have good energy and bad energy.
mm-hmm,
That's all humans. That's every individual in every individual tribe. That's all humans, right?
mm-hmm,
But what white people did is disorient our energies. You understand?
mm-hmm,
What I mean by that is we in general right now is putting our bad energies the wrong way. It's directed the wrong way.
mm-hmm,
Also, our good energies is directed the wrong way.
mm-hmm,
I see that in our general practices, right? We don't want our neighbors to be our boss. We don't want the next black man to be our boss. You feel me? And we will do, we will not say it, but we will do a lot of different things for him not to be our boss. So that's a bad energy directed at your own people. So when it comes to even riches, you can't inherit no riches like that. You feel me? You can't
yeah, yeah,
even get you can't even
yeah.
get rich. You can't even get rich.
Mm-hmm,
So it's a tug of war. They have caused us to be living in a tug of war with each other. Because okay, so that's the good energy now. Look at the good energy now. The white man is invited to be the boss and tolerated to boss you around. And the Chinese and all the different colors, except the black man. So there is where our good energies are going. It's going to waste and it's going to um swines. You feel me? So we actually have been our energies have been actually disoriented and now we giving good energies to swines. You feel me? So what? That's why I speak this way because that's why I'm I'm determined on loyalty to the black skin, because that's the good energy that we want to engage our people with, and our people to engage us with, that we can surpass certain things and function. You feel me? In the present time, we can see it's all dysfunction, and it don't make no sense try to make sense of it. It don't make sense try to say, okay, you're gonna be tormented all over. You have to be determined and declare loyalty to the black skin. That's why I make this oath, and I call it the global African and oath, the national global African oath. I swear loyalty to the black skin and patriotism to Africa, and that includes Ethiopia and Somalia. You feel me? I mean, you're not gonna be treated less. It's like people have this type of stigma, as if we conform towards loving blackness and giving certain loyalties to blackness, you gonna lose. It's like what you gonna lose?
Yeah, like let me say a couple of things. Like, I understand you, Alconfire. You're trying to say there's fire and water in all of us, so we can only put it into good mode when someone is balance.
We can only balance it.
Balance, yeah. When the fire is starting to heat up, you become water. When there's too much water, you become sand to suck the water. I think you are understanding my point, right?
Yes. Hold on. Yeah. There's a word for it. It is the ma'at. It is the laws of balance. You can't get rid of bad. You have to direct it in the right direction. You don't want, it's like this. If you over good, it's like this, on the scale of 1 to 100 percentage. If you over good, like you always 80-90% good, it turns bad. You feel me?
Yeah.
So right now, guess what's happening? The world is going to 70-80% bad. Guess what gonna happen in a minute? It gonna turn good. You feel me? But we need to keep a balance. Like me right now, I'm 60% bad and 40% good. I'm keeping it that way because of our imbalance, and some people got to be disregarded. You feel me? Like in real life. You feel me? And we need to pay back. That's balance. People who offends black people need to get payback, and that should be in our minds. That's the balance, and there is where we gonna put our bad energies. Who hurt us for no reason? It's not like there's a reason, like we did something to nobody. You feel me? So because they did something to us, we think, because in the court of law, if you murder someone, you do the time, right? There's no like optional program for that shit. So that means if you enslaved us, if you murdered us, there should be recompense. People should pay for that. Until the debt is being paid, we as African people should not be comfortable with these people. You feel me? So that's how I see That's how I see life. So we now, and it's not like, oh, we're not doing wickedness. We are doing wickedness to each other. You feel me? It's not like we nice. We not goddamn nice.
We're doing wickedness to the good ones. We're not doing wicked to the wicked ones because,
Yes.
like, you're right. You're so right because to reach through, I know it's through our beliefs, we need to do good at a full basis as we can, but we're not perfect. First, when
And
we
what you think redirecting our energies mean? Teach the children who their enemies are.
Yeah, 100.
Teach
First,
the children who their enemies are. If you don't do that, we done for.
Yeah.
That's redirecting the energy. That's orienting. That's recalibrating our mentality. You feel me? That's what we need. And Tezzy said it. We need to impact the schools with African history, where it gonna teach you who did us wrong. And we're not supposed to hide the things that they do. We supposed, just like the children can see murder in the streets, you should tell them who murdered your generation. You know, okay, they killed 11, 50 or 100 million Congolese. Okay, all right, watch this. And they cut off the balls off our people in the Arab slavery. If those people had children, think of the grandchildren and grandchildren. How much people would those be? How much people would those be? People need to pay for all of those. All of those. The 50 million and the grandchildren and grandgrands and great-grands that they would have had. People need to pay for that thing. I'm trying not to do no curse words because people need to be angry. We not angry.
By the way, you're not cursing. Like, you're pleading out to the Most High for judgment. Like, I believe all of us want that.
Of course, lightning and thunder on Babylon, lava for Rome. You feel me? That's what I'm. Listen, man. I'm telling you this. We need to take a people got to pay stance for whoever did us wrong. Ethiopia wrongfully underwent an invasion by Italy. It should not be forgiven. You feel me? People need to pay. These people are persistently hostile. It has not ended. Why are we so soft? Why are we so loving to these people? Who is teaching the children that? Aren't the children just 18 and 19? How the hell they know these things to praise white people? There's an ongoing mission to teach our children to be this way, which we got to cut down, which is the education system, the ministries of education in whoever country has got to be infiltrated. Right now, you don't know. They have infiltrated the Addis Ababa education system.
Yeah,
it's all
100.
whiteness. It's all whiteness.
Yeah, you got
it's all whiteness. Man. It's all whiteness teaching the children. You see me? How can the people be black and be getting a whiteness education? What are they gonna think of themselves? You understand? And do we have love?
Damn.
And do we have any love? Do we want our children to grow up stupid and have no character, no integrity? You feel me? How about teaching the kids that and when you taught them, white people come to their country and they can't even have sex with a girl because of our pride that we have installed in our women and our boys. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I understand your concept here, but yeah, like you got it on point. Especially, I just wanted to pick up the point that, especially that cut out this chain, because anything that's shredded blood is just gonna call up on blood, because we can look into our families, our family trees. Like he pointed out, when one generation is killed, it's responsible for maybe 6, 7 generations. Like if you lose one parent, your grandkid is gonna lose some part of his body, because his parent didn't grow up with one parent in his life, so he's gonna be missing a part, and then his grandkid is gonna be judging his parent based on not understanding that, and now questioning who took his grandparent and why his father or mother is like this and like that. We're only basis on judging, because if you miss out some kind of portion from your parents, you're gonna question, why didn't my dad give me this kind of things? Why didn't my mom give me this kind of kid? Then when you reach that consciousness level, when you look one step ahead, okay, his own parents missed out on something because of death, because of slaughter to meaningless agendas. Even beyond that, it might have been some cause stuff based on the hidden agendas, hidden hands, and we need to understand that.
I want to tell some people this, right? They have totally misunderstood colonization. A lot of Africans walking around in Africa thinking that they not colonized, like they have passed through the colonization, until you have formulated your own African, or what you call it, especially a black oriented curriculum. You are colonized until you get rid of Roman and Protestant churches. You are colonized. You feel me? That is colonization. Having a bunch of churches running around with white Jesus on the walls, getting a lacking curriculum, one that don't give you nuclear science, one that don't give you real what you call it, bridge engineer systems. You see me? One that don't give you real political education, and political education really means which race you for. That's the real meaning of political education. You feel me? So no school in Africa gives you none of these things. The things that really can elevate you. Like aerodynamic education system in the universities. This you see the lacking. You see me? We would have listen, if white people was interested, we would all have a perfect mind, because they know what a perfect mind is. We would all have a perfect education system. We would be ranked #1 in the world, because if white people had the choice of dealing with us fairly with our merchandise, they all have these options. None of what is happening to us is coincidental. You see me? So So we should all stop in our tracks and say, oh shit, someone is monitoring us and how we think. Why is there an emphasis on broadcasting European news and Europeans interested in broadcasting their news to us? Why is there an interest in that? Why isn't there an interest in them helping us develop our own media industry and speak what we want? No, because you're gonna upset the status quo. You feel me? And the what you call it, the you all use the word a lot. You feel me? So we all have to really check ourselves and ask ourselves, what is the big picture? Because you have who is the elephant in the room? Why is people always avoiding the elephant in the room? You feel me? The things that's like an umbrella over us. You feel me? Such as religion and our curriculum. These are two major things that direct us in our totality. Two major things. I'm not talking about Ethiopia really, because Ethiopia wasn't like that before the media. I don't think so. You feel me? I think white people and the peer pressure of the West have influenced Ethiopia a lot in a negative way. You feel me? Yeah, but because it's like this. Everyone wants to be friends with who have ranks. You feel me? And because the West have ranks, that's why we have so much sellout, because in their silly mind, going with the trend will help them. You feel me? Till they became such individualistic people because of how the West has done. You feel me? They have forgot that being a team is what gonna make you rich, and it not gonna just make you rich. It gonna make everybody rich. You feel me? And that's what we are missing. You feel me? That's what we missing.
Yeah, like we were one. Like if you found like some datas, like to be honest, I didn't pick up a lot of things to be true, because sometimes when the lies are so well programmed, the truth looks like a lie. Like when I look at it through historical maps and stuff like that,
Yeah.
we were one. We were so like you said, maybe 5, 6 generations up, even 7, 8. Maybe my great grandparents and your same over your side and everyone in this room might have knew each other when we're so close, because a lot of things were messed up after colonization, during colonization, and on a daily basis today. And that comes to because gender, because Atlantic Ocean wasn't Atlantic Ocean because it has its own agenda. And beyond that, there's a lot of things and they don't want this data to be reached out to anybody on the neighboring country even more. Have you ever imagined this? Like people that are propagating this, even if their own people knew about this, what would they feel? Because they will come up against, they will eat them alive. Like, not on the basis of their demonized minds, but on the reality level, like on the questioning level, like on the judgment level. Like you said, if you kill someone, you need to sentence, go through the imprisonment, go through the punishment, and they know that punishment because they might have already assigned it themselves. If you kill a person, you might be buried alive. Who knows? I don't wish on nobody on that, but God is like that. He will beg for. He wants us to beg for mercy, but when His judgment comes, we just need to look out on back on history. We have a lot of synced cities, countries, you name it. So I don't want to go that way, to be honest. So I'm trying to do my good deeds on a daily basis and try to influence one person to show his own path and be good. Like, I believe in those things but that doesn't mean be a ice cream boy. That's what I realized. So we need to look upon that, and we need to create our own system. Yeah, take it away, Monday.
Yeah, my brother, you guys have spoken a lot of wisdom, and yeah, even Maria Antoinette is wowed. Oh yeah, she's actually yeah. So yeah, it's been a great stream, guys. But I'm starting to feel drowsy, so I'm going to have to call it a stream. I can fire, my brother. I know Rastaman pray, so I'm going to have to request you to pray for us. As we end the stream. But before that, anybody has anything else to say?
Well, let me pray for you first.
Peace, I can fire.
Yeah. Okay. But first I want to say this. I'm gonna refer to God and that incident. It's like this. I watch things. I see things. We have been undergoing oppression for 500 years. You see me? He's saying that I am grown and I want to influence the youth to rise up and destroy their lives and all that stuff. And I'll be like, well, bro, I have been the way I am. I have been this way from I was 20 years old. You feel me? So when I look at that, I'll be like, well, bro, a lot of people died for us. And when I was 20 years old, I'd be like, bro, a lot of people died for us. Marcus Garvey died for us and all that stuff. Somebody has to carry on the legacy. And I ain't gonna be like one of these people that have no what you call it, that will fight for nothing. You feel me? So I have been treading this road from like I was 20. So I'm not understanding these little people. That's why I'm so aggressive on the defeative attitude, like defeatist attitude, like you are defeated. You see me? So I don't like black people being like that. You are like a punk, like you are as a man like a prostitute. If someone comes with money I tell you to turn around for your comfort, you will do it. You feel me? I'll be like, bro, you all have to have regulations. You feel me? You have to regulate. You have to have standards. You feel me? You have to have something to stand for, die or not. You feel me? So that's how I see things. You feel me? So let's pray then. You feel me? Well, give thanks to the Almighty for life. You feel me? Almighty, destroy all the wicked that don't like black people. You feel me? Put them in the lava. Let them burn to ash. Blessed. That's my prayer.
Amen.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I can fire.
Thank you, I can fire.
Thank you, my people.
Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
it's been a beautiful stream, guys. Yeah. Thank you for your beautiful prayer. I don't think I can add anything to it. Tanzan, Maria Antoinette, Mikias, any final words as we close the stream?
I just want to add I just want to add my good wishes and to see all of us see a brighter day. I just hope to God to make us see all a brighter day and a better Africa, and to build a better Africa for our children's, while witnessing that beautiful, well-designed Africa. We can consider ourselves, everyone, as enjoyment as kids, because at the end, when you're a kid, you don't hold grudges, you don't hold hate, you just love each other, even through differences and even through after simple fights. And I just want that spirit to be all over Africa and the world. And may God bring judgment real soon.
Thank you, man. I think I should just say amen again to my brothers Miki's blessings. Yeah. So anybody, the ladies, you want anything, or should I just call it a wrap?
Yeah, the men had it today. I can't add anything to that. So thank you, brothers.
Yeah, I also like to give my thanks to Iconfire, to you, my sister Tanzan, to Maria Antoinette and Mikias. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for the people in the comment section, the only who was contributing, even though she was also dealing with her children. So yeah, thank you to her, Boyak, Natnail, Pi, and yeah, everybody else. If I've forgotten you, it's because I'm not scrolling far enough. But yeah, BJ Riggs, she dropped off a little bit, but yeah, thank you guys. It's been a great stream. I'll actually enjoy rewatching it because these days I watch the streams. Yeah. Good night, guys, in East Africa. If it's good morning to your side, it's good. I don't know. Good lunchtime. I don't know what. Good afternoon for those who are in the afternoon. So yeah, let me end the broadcast.